Hello all, good evening, and welcome back to XBL UK. We are currently on episode, 35 is it? 36 tonight. Joining me tonight, we have Boldman Gamer.
Good evening.
From the PSN Party Podcast. And we have TheGinna, the resident letdown.
Gaming Room 101 Tinsel Fanatic, I think you find.
How is it going, gents? How is your week going? What have you been playing? All that fun stuff. TheGinna, take it away. Ooh. I'm going to sit here and eat a sandwich.
I've been playing a lot this week. I played a bit of Call of Duty. It's still not clicking with me. I don't think it has a single good map. Been playing Halo. Really improved since the winter update. However, I don't like the new maps. But I like the old ones. So, it all works.
You're lying to yourself.
Really
good. There at all.
I've been playing Fortnite. Usual. Keeps updating every week. Has more story. Has more stuff to do. It's fantastic.
If it keeps updating every week, why are we not getting Fortnite Fridays?
Oh, too much stuff, if anything. By the time I put it up, it'd be out of date. And then I've been playing Vampire Survivors, which is quite possibly it's up there for my game of the year. That game is just incredible. I had a 30-minute run earlier where I cleared a level when I reached level 100 on the last level. So I think technically, if you judge it by old school standards, I've technically completed the game. Back in the day, you'd have gone, oh yeah, I've done that. But there's still like 80 achievements left to get, and I've only used one character to complete it all. So I'm going to go back through with different characters and have a go and what have you. And I don't do that often with games, but it stopped me playing Deathloop, Plague's Tale, and it was another game I was working my way through. And I've got Somerville that I want to play and Pentiment, and I just can't stop playing this fucking vampire game. It's driving me mad.
I started playing it earlier on cloud gaming when I was sat in minor injuries.
It's addictive, isn't it?
I don't get it. I don't get why people find it addictive. I was a bit...
Stick with it. Do it on your console. And then when you start getting the right mixture, and you've got a bit of garlic, and then you've got lightning, and then you have different characters with different powers, and you start finding what you like, you end up like I was. You can just stand there, and you're just mining enemies and getting all the power off them, and you just feel invincible, and it just becomes so addictive.
Yeah, that's cool. BmG, what have you been playing? Destiny 2?
No, to be fair, I've not really played much of Destiny. I've had a bit of a break from it. It's all my time's been into Marvel Snap and God of War Ragnarok. It's just what a game. What a game.
Can I just ask, which game holds your hand more, Marvel Snap or God of War Ragnarok?
That is a tough one. Yeah. I love God of War. The only criticism I've really got is they don't really give you a chance to figure out the puzzle or do something, or figure out where you're going before it's on you to tell you. But no, I do love it. It's an awesome game, and Marvel Snap is just fun. It's addictive, and you should play it. It's a good game. But that's pretty much all I've played so far when I've been able to get gaming in.
God of War is a system seller. My brother-in-law bought one just to play it. He had the most horrific time trying to move his game saves from his PS4 to his PS5. Thought he'd done it, packed his PS4 away, turned on Final Fantasy VII, and he was like, oh, no, you haven't quite done it right. You need to unpack your PS4 and plug it all back in again, mate. He was fuming. It was the most frustrating thing ever. But something I didn't mention, actually, for everyone who tried to jump in on Warzone 2 on day one yesterday, what were you thinking? Because I was sat next to my missus.
Tell you what, I'll try to play it today. It's unplayable.
I was in a party chat with my brother-in-law, my brother, a couple of mates, my missus. I was playing Halo for ages, Fortnite, and then I chucked on Vampires. I was flicking between games. I spent an hour and a half just playing, doing my weeklies, having fun. They played one game in that hour.
Yeah, it's like that today.
Oh, I know. They were like, oh, yeah, but, everyone's playing this. It's like, no, nobody's playing this. You're not even playing this.
It's not even just Warzone 2.0. I couldn't get into any game.
It's all tied in.
I couldn't get into DMZ. I couldn't get into Quick Play. Like, everything just locked me out this afternoon.
Do you know why? It's because all the progression is locked in between the two. So this new battle pass, when it comes, carries across to both games. So it all tracks and it's all on the same servers. And so if one goes down, the whole game is He's
It's
knackered.
proper pants, isn't it? I don't like that. Because I mean, today was infuriating, and not only just that, but seems to still have that issue where it kicks you out of the game if you try and party with friends.
Having the battle pass work across both battle royale and normal multiplayer is a terrible idea, and they should be kept separate. So I can't wait for Tatanka to come out in 3-4-3 to just put them straight together, follow suit, and really balls it up for a week. Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. So
What have you been playing, Redders?
I've been playing. I'll tell you what. I've become addicted to this game called Little Big Workshop, and I only paid like £2 for it on eBay, and I must have sunk a good 30 hours into it over the last 3 or 4 days. Oh my god, it's so addictive. It's like 2 Point Hospital, except you got to build a factory, run a factory.
Nice.
Yeah, but like when it comes to building stuff, you have to take every component into consideration. So you're not just building like a wardrobe. You got to plan how to build the handles, how to build the doors, and it all goes from the assembly point. They build it, put it together, ship it out. It's fucking great. It's so adorable as well. It's like just like on a board game on top of a table, but you're actually running this workshop. So I've been playing that. Had a bit of a break from Modern Warfare 2 whilst Warzone 2 rolled out. Didn't play it at all yesterday. That's about it, really. Yeah.
Through choice, or
yeah. I avoided it because I knew it was going to be like on day one. So I was like, I'll give it a miss for now. But it's still just as bad today. Day later.
BmG seems to have gone last gen on us. His resolution's dropped really far, and he's pixelating.
Sorry, give me 2 seconds. One sec. Is that better?
Coming at you live from 360p.
There we go. So I was just we should have someone dropping in any minute, but we're just sorting.
Sentinel is jumping in.
Yes. I was just dropping in the link. I just had to, because my computer's like runs on a potato and dust. So I've literally just got to, if I do multiple things, it just like has a bit of a spaz attack and goes really slow.
Good evening, Sentinel. How are you, and what have you been playing?
Hey, Redders, thanks for inviting me. I have actually been playing a lot of Halo Infinite, surprisingly. You know, I took a break from it for a while, but I know everyone was talking about the new winter update, and I said, "Oh, what the hell? I'll check it out." And I've actually been having a lot of fun with it. I've been playing it for the past couple days. You know, especially since I kind of just got burned out on Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer really fast. And I don't know which of you guys have been playing Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, but if I bring up the grind for the weapons and the attachments, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's everyone's biggest complaint right now. And then of course, it just feels like they're missing modes at launch because they were trying to get Warzone 2.0 out the door. Yeah. So that kind of forced me back to Halo Infinite, but I've really been enjoying it.
Nice. Yeah, I've been running around with that. I wouldn't say an XP glitch. It's more like abusing the XP. You know, you got the decoy grenades and the DDoS attacks and stuff. You level them up so fast. It doesn't take long at all, especially if you're playing games like Hardpoint and Domination. I haven't really had an issue with leveling up anything. But yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's silly that you have to level up a submachine gun to get a sniper rifle and that kind of shit. It's just what's the point? I don't get that. It just seems unnecessarily convoluted.
You think that's bad? I had one of my weekly tasks was get 5 kills where I had to earn medals on Halo, and one of the medals, the easiest one to get from the game modes I play, was last shot. So I'd spawn, spaff all my bullets, and then try kill someone with my last shot on SWAT. And just like, if I turn around the corner and miss them, I'm reloading and dead. Or if they saw me first and killed me, it's like, oh, fuck, spawn. Get rid of all my bullets, keep my last bullet, off we go again. Or Fiesta, spawn of a rocket launcher, and have to shoot all my bullets and keep one ready just to get somebody. Those are the only grindy.
You just got to get close with those fisticuffs, knock their shield down and then get the last shot in with your pistol.
Yeah, right.
Luckily, I started doing it with Manglers. I don't know how. It just worked. So
yeah, it's a good pistol if you're if you're good with it being a revolver. I mean, because you got to be a really good shot because of how fast everything is.
Yeah, and the drop. Got to get gravity into effect.
Yeah.
I've been in minor injuries most of the day. I haven't had a chance to tweet this out. If you guys could share this shit out, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
I did earlier. I tweeted it out. passed it on to the millions upon millions of fans.
Did you tag
Who the fuck
Brock
are you, The
Lesnar in
Rock?
No, I don't think. I think Brock Lesnar's not happy with us because of the stuff Red has said about him.
it?
So,
So yeah, let's get into some topics. We've got a lot to get through tonight. It's been quite a busy few days. So biggest news: Battlefield 2042 is coming to Xbox Game Pass and EA Play. I believe it's coming on November 22nd. Is that right?
that's correct.
That's cool. I think it's much needed. I think it will hopefully breathe some new life into the game.
It was like
Cool.
it came out. Is it a year? It's been about. Is it a year now?
Yeah,
Battlefield
no, yeah.
2042 has been out thereabouts. Yeah.
It launched the same time as Vanguard and Infinite, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm quite surprised it's took this long to actually get it into the service or come into the service. But hopefully in that year they've improved a lot of it. I do like the Battlefield franchise. I fell off on Battlefield 4, the last modern day one, because I couldn't be bothered with the war stuff. It wasn't. I prefer the modern to the World War games.
Yeah.
And 2042 from the trailers when it announced looked really interesting, looked fun, and I thought I really want to play it. And then it dropped, reviews dropped, and half the stuff's missing. I don't even think it had even all the features in the UI. I think half that was missing, and it was just like
a scoreboard that's just been added.
Yeah, and it's kind of like. These are the sort of things that should be day one. You've had all this time to make this game. There was no rush to get it out at the same time as Call of Duty. God knows why they keep trying to compete with them in the same month. It's just beyond me. But they could have took the time. There was no rush. There was no expectation for it to be out on a yearly release or anything like that. And they decided to release it in the state that it was, and there just wasn't enough in there. And it didn't take much time for quite a lot of the player base to fall off, which is a shame. Because Battlefield is quite a good series. But with hopefully all the features they've now added, the improvements, the bug fixes, and dropping into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate /EA Play should hopefully give it a good boost back into the numbers. I'm going to play it. I'm going to try it. Because I went from wanting it day one to I'm not touching this. Not because I was on it's going to come to Game Pass, I'll just wait for then. That wasn't the case. It was just because the game just didn't look good. And not going off reviews, but going off other people that have played it, just how bad the game looked and played. It was just like, I'm not touching it. But now it's dropping into the service. I'll try it. I don't think it's something I'm going to stick with. It's probably going to be more like Battlefront 2, where I just jump in now and again and have a game for a bit of fun with something different. But I am looking forward to jumping in and giving it a try.
I never even survived the trial. I think I've still got like 4 hours left on the trial.
Yeah, same.
I played it briefly and I was like, this is fucking awful. And I stopped playing it.
I played the trial too. I think most of us did.
It's really lost its identity. I think that's my issue with it. Like the Battlefield was I always preferred Battlefield to COD because it was more tactical. You needed to be a bit more careful. You had set classes. I like the idea of running around as a medic and support.
The same here.
And then they gave it to everybody. Everybody can throw an ammo pouch. Everybody can revive and heal. And so, what's the point of having classes? And then
everyone can spawn hovercrafts, and you end up on a map where there's like 50 hovercraft just going around in circles, which is what the new one descended into, which is madness.
Yeah.
It's just I don't get it. They kind of took everything that made Battlefield out and handed to the COD crowd. I think because you can even get operators now and shit, which is something that COD went with for a while. I don't get it.
It's not even that they lost themselves either, because the core of what was there was broken. So like when I was the same as you. I jumped in on the trial. Me and my couple of brothers tried it. We were looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we'd be shooting people and hits just weren't registering.
Yeah.
And you'd be point blank shooting them, and then they would turn around and shoot you and you're dead instantly. And I was like, well, this isn't fun.
To be fair,
Then you'd be in a tank shooting people and running people over, and it's not registered, and then somehow your tank blows up. It's like no one was shooting me. What was going on?
I played the beta, which I think came out like a month before the game released, and like Stevie Wonder could have seen that shit wasn't ready. I don't understand why they didn't fucking just delay it. But then that's the problem with EA. They push shit out that's not ready, and then they expect DICE to pick up the pieces when it's been out and broken for a while.
Yeah.
Don't get it. But yeah, I remember when it was like shortly after release, EA came out and was like, oh, well, we have a lot of faith in DICE. They'll be able to get this back on track. Should have given them more time, then you wouldn't have to play catch up. You know what I mean?
Or let them make the game they want to make. It seems like they're being told each time what they need to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure they didn't want to make a game that didn't have a scoreboard. But the reason a scoreboard wasn't in there, they didn't want people to know how good or bad they're doing. Because if they know they're doing shit, it deters them and they want to turn the game off. So they just wanted to keep people in, keep people playing.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Then they called it a legacy feature. Oh, we understand people want legacy features back, like scoreboards. So no, that's not legacy. That's basic.
That's
Every game has a scoreboard.
Yeah. Every FPS online game has a fucking scoreboard. I don't get it.
I'm kind of glad that
BmG.
I'm glad EA didn't pull a Blizzard and remove Battlefield 4 before they got 2042 in good fighting shape. You know how they released Overwatch 2 and like the same day they cut off Overwatch 1 completely, so you can't play it anymore, and then all the servers crash, and it's like, what were you guys thinking? You know,
it's the same
quite
game.
Funny with everything that's going on. Quite funny, everything that's going on with COD and all these other ones that are not working. Every now and then, my one mate who's a massive Overwatch fan, I'll just put in the chat, Overwatch 2 then, should we jump on that? And then nobody will reply to him. We're all like,
yeah.
No matter how bad things get, we don't want to return to Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2 is the biggest con to come out of this year.
Yeah.
It's just Overwatch 1 reskinned. And they charge you for it. I don't get it.
Yeah, you know, and my kids, my teenagers are pissed because they loved Overwatch 1. And Overwatch 2 has a lot of things wrong with it. And they wouldn't have cared, you know, if Overwatch 1 would have been functional and they left the servers online. But they pulled all the servers offline, so you can't even go back and play Overwatch 1. You know, and they're pissed about it. What am I going to tell them, though? You know, that's just Blizzard. They're fucking up left and right.
Do you think that'll be a future paid update? It'll be, we've heard you want to, so you can rent servers that will play Overwatch 1 in its native mode and give us your money.
That wouldn't surprise me.
You cried and we listened. Here, have Overwatch 1 back.
Yeah. Or they'll relaunch it
1 and 2, and we'll call
they'll
it
relaunch. They'll relaunch Overwatch 1 next summer. They'll be like, you wanted it back, so here you go. Now you just have to pay $60 for it again.
Legacy edition. That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
Oh god. Overwatch Classic.
Overwatch Remastered.
Overwatch 2, yeah.
Overwatch Remasters. That's what we'll get.
I love the first Overwatch. That's the thing. I thought it was a great game, but they shit all over it with loot boxes and fucking.
Well, and it took them forever to figure it out and to balance characters and to nerf certain weapons, but you know, give other ones more power.
Overwatch
and then
2 didn't even have beta, did it? It just got released.
Yep, it just got released.
The release is the beta.
I don't get it.
Pretty much.
Like how many characters have they had to pull out of the game because they're not working properly?
Right.
If only you'd had a beta.
They spent more time making sure they didn't appear in porn than they did polishing the game. That's what they did.
Right.
That didn't last. It took a day. It took a day for the virgins to break it.
No, that didn't last long at all.
Just like the virgins.
So yeah, Battlefield's coming to Xbox Game Pass next week.
It surprises me it took them this long.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought it would have gone in sooner.
I have heard from people who play it that it's actually pretty good now. Battlefield is actually in quite a good place. So it's had a few updates, a few new maps. It's meant to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's
Luke Steele.
It'll be doing good now that they launched it on Game Pass. It'll have tons of daily users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Halo.
Yep. At least with Halo Infinite, though, it kind of feels like they're getting it back in a good place. You know? Yeah,
they are. It's a comeback, boys. It's a comeback. It's No Man's Sky all over again.
When's the next season of Halo?
112 days, sir.
I couldn't even tell you.
So a quarter of a year away. Right. Fantastic.
Oh man! Get on Destiny.
Third
Look,
beat your way. What am I about?
They
New
gave us
season
a
every
free
4
30
months.
tier battle pass to get through to Len. Okay, I've just finished level 20, so I've got to drag this 10 out. If I do
How long has it
one
been
level
out?
every 10 days, I'll be fine.
I'll tell you what. As long as they got mugs like you that keep playing it and buying it.
Problem is, each tier is 1,000 XP. It gives you 500 XP for playing your first game of the day. So there's no way I could drag it out. I've got 32 double XPs just sat there waiting to be used. And they just build up and build up with my perks because I've always finished the battle pass so quick. So I'm playing for fun at one point. That's what it gets to.
No,
And they've added a
it's not
button.
fun anymore.
You know when you finish the game and it shows you the scoreboard of how you did? There's a button. If you press X, it starts searching for another one straight away instead of making you go back all the way to the menu. Incredible. What a revolution that is.
What a feature.
Oh,
Yeah.
If only it hadn't been done before in loads of
there's
other
an
games.
option where you can party up with people you played with and you can vote for the map and it'll automatically start playing and ask you if you want to drop out. I mean, that's the future. I can't wait for that.
I'll tell you what, man. Someone at 343 is asleep at the wheel.
Hey, they sacked him. The new people in look pretty good. They've got ideas, which I like. You know? It's just,
Shocking.
a few years.
You're going to wait 112 days to get them ideas. The only thing that I like that's
They're
coming
doing
to
loads of
Halo
events
Infinite
between
is
them.
the
I'm gonna
cold
say
campaign.
They are doing loads of events between it. It's not like the game just stays exactly as it is for 112 days, but that's when the next battle pass drops.
The season content.
There's a sucker born every minute.
Hello.
So moving on, as most of you will know by now, this was came out yesterday, but Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 launched yesterday and requires 115 gigabytes to install.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's still not playable. So I would give it a few days and then it might be playable. But as of this moment, I'm having a hard time with it. You guys going to jump into Warzone 2?
I feel for Activision. Like it's
Why?
got to be expensive running all those servers and updating a game. Like if only they could have made £1 billion in 10 days. Like, and they had that kind of money where they could offer us a good service, you know.
If only they hadn't put out 15 to 20 Call of Duties before that all had online multiplayer. If only they had learned from those Call of Duties.
Yeah.
Only the mobile game didn't make like 400 million a quarter and has 0 updates added to it. Like, if only they had things like that, just putting money into them so they could maintain their servers and make sure their shit worked, That would be.
If only that money went to servers and not Bobby Kotick.
Oh, I know, right?
So are they still running Warzone 1? Is that still running as well alongside it?
Yeah,
Ooh,
maybe.
I don't
Do we know? Because it's going to be
Probably
a lot.
not.
You can imagine if they're running 1 as well as 2. Because I know Overwatch has shut 1 down, but I've not heard anything to say that Warzone 1 is actually closing now. Warzone 2 is taking its place or a new one. So imagine if you've got that installed. Because what's the game now? Is the game 115 gig? Then it's 100 gig for 100 plus gig for them Warzone 2.
Oh no, it's 115 gig total, I think.
I guess they are actually shutting off
that's
the
just
Warzone
Warzone.
1 servers.
Yeah.
They're shutting off the Warzone 1 servers Wednesday, November 16th at around 4 p.m., which is 2 hours before it launches in the UK. So I guess it's already offline.
Yeah, they've gone
right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, because it's like Battle Royale games isn't really my thing. Yeah, I had to drag TheGinna through Fortnite, which, I did. So he's what you're welcome for that, Jinna. Don't worry. But
If you go back and watch the footage, you spent most of your time screaming because you thought that I was an enemy every time I walked past you. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Woo!
Right, I was on edge. We had some stranger I never met before following us, and I was always taught stranger danger. So I thought I was reacting in a normal fashion, but Warzone, I don't think I'll touch it. I like, the Call of Duties, I like the multiplayers that they have, but then doing the Battle Royale sort of thing, I don't think I'm going to touch it. I did briefly try Warzone 1, and I just getting literally just killed constantly, teabagged, getting the gulag thing and then killed, teabagged, and it was just like, nah, clearly I'm not at a level to play this game. I'm too old for this game.
I quite like the Warzone.
Yeah.
It was good. game.
I didn't like it. I struggle with battle royales. The only one I ever really got into was PUBG.
I think if you have a good
Oh.
team, it's not that hard, you know.
I like the Apex Legends. Apex Legends is really good. But,
Maybe I should have played it PlayStation,
Warzone.
because that's where Call of Duty's at its best on PlayStation. I should have gone
What a
over
shit
there.
house.
If you want to run at a lower FPS and lower res, then yeah, you go for it.
No.
You
Wow.
rode in on.
No, Xbox are allowed to have it better than PlayStation. It's equal.
just
They're
does,
on
though.
equal footing.
It's weird. One thing I
Equal
will say
footing.
on this new one, it does look really good. Graphically, it looks as good as the campaign, like the maps and stuff. However, the LOV on there, like, you know, where things kind of drop off and get worse, is much worse than the last Warzone, to the point where when I was watching my wife play it yesterday with my brother-in-law and stuff, it looked like when you were looking down the scope and sniping people on the last games, the people would still move like they normally would. You could see them reloading, firing guns. Now they look like static people ice skating across the map. So everything else looks fantastic, but the character detail drops off. They go 40, 50 meters away from you.
That's not.
They turn
It's not
into
just
static
Warzone,
skating
like
people.
That. It's
It
like
makes
that
it
in
hard
Ground
to
War
aim
as
and hit
well.
them.
If you're aiming down the map on Warzone, you just see people like hovering and just floating across the floor. They're not. Their feet aren't moving. It's proper weird.
But on the old Battle Royale one, it didn't do that. And on the old multiplayer, it didn't do it. But on this new one, I don't know if it's because it does it in Modern Warfare 2 as well, in the multiplayer, but it does it on there. And it's really off-putting. If you're trying to snipe people and they're on roofs, you can't tell if they're laying down, if they're stood up, what gun they got. They just turn these weird static skating images across the screen. And they're just going back and forth like this. And like, what the fuck is that guy doing?
Jesus.
Yeah.
You'd expect more from Activision.
Yeah, especially how good the other one was for actually keeping that detail on the characters. Even when the environments dropped, the characters always looked okay because you could figure out what they're doing. That's gone.
It's hard to defend it, you know, because this is a game that comes out every single year. Like, how the fuck are they still not getting it right after all
I will
these
say,
years?
I did play Fortnite on the OG Xbox yesterday, and that shit loses detail 10 foot in front of you. That is really struggling to run that game now where they keep updating it. Like, you're walking and there's no grass on the hills until there's about 10 foot away from you, and then a tree will just pop in. And it's like, oh, there's a tree there.
So it's looking like PlayerUnknown's Battleground, I guess.
Worse. It's running worse than PUBG did. Yeah,
wow,
it's pretty bad. And I played Halo Infinite, and it was in the mid-20s. It must, because I play on here, and I play everything in 120 FPS mode, but I've only got COD on this Xbox. So when my missus wants to play, she jumps on, and I go to the OG big VCR Xbox One. I'm playing Halo Infinite. It must have been running like mid-20s. It's rough. It's pretty rough to play. But yeah, could be worse. You could be an Overwatch 2 fan, and that's all you got.
Is there any Overwatch 2 fans?
There'll be some in chat, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably a couple hundred people total, maybe.
I mean, Ash used to get attacked by Stadia fans on Twitter. That stopped once they killed the service, but he used to get them after him, so why not?
Yeah. They all migrated to Destiny 2, I guess.
Yeah. Another dead service.
That's it. The superior live service FPS game today.
I'll give over.
Right.
Yep. Destiny 2 stopped being relevant the week after it came out.
See, I think, but it's so much has changed since then. There's so much in there. And the reason, I've kind of figured this out.
It took away loads of content that you paid for. Great. Love it.
I think I know the reason why Redders is so negative on Destiny 2.
Because
he's banned from it. Like,
not
Smite.
banned from it. No,
as soon as he got banned from Smite, he shit on it because he was
I was shitting on Smite when I was playing Smite.
He used to shit on Smite when he played it. In fairness, he did. Like, I don't even know what I'm playing. It's the worst game ever. I put another 20 quid into
it. Maybe if I keep giving them money, the game will get better. No, it's still shit.
I did enjoy Destiny 2. It's got very good shooting mechanics. That's it. I'm sticking with that.
It's a Halo wannabe.
Superior game. Halo wannabe. These are the people that made Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
Superior team. Now they've got
like,
free.
Fuck, we need someone that's going to make money. Shit, let's rip off Halo.
free for free. Right, let's bring a battle pass out twice a year with seasonal content, and we'll see how we go because that's what the fans want.
See, Muppet gets it.
Well, his name says it all.
Wow. Oh my god.
Hey, we just
I
lost
love you. I love you, really, Muppet. Please don't come at me.
He's gonna kick in your door in like 10 minutes.
He was on
Yeah,
Destiny
yeah.
with us, wasn't he, the other night?
Overnight? You mean like 6 months ago when we played it?
About 3 weeks ago. It's the other night to me. I'm old.
Overnight.
It's all a blur.
Oh, I don't remember.
So, moving on. Remedy has announced a Control 2 is currently in development.
Whoop, whoop.
I
Really
don't know
enjoyed
what
the
you
first
guys.
one, never finished it.
I don't know what you guys think, but I hope it launches in a better state than the fucking first game. My God, that's horrendous. I'll tell you what, I was talking to Sensei about this last night. I don't understand how Control was as popular and hyped as it was, because that game ran like utter shit. Utter shit. I remember playing it the day it came out. My God, the frame rate was fucking dreadful.
Yeah, the frame rate was pretty bad.
I only played it on Series X, and it plays pretty good. I didn't finish it. I was really enjoying the game, and as usual, something else come out, and I just like, oh, look at that thing, and I'm gone. I will say the map was
on the
shit.
1X.
They've got to improve the map for the second one.
I played it on the 1X, and my God, it was just fucking dreadful. Frame rate was like, it's one of those sub 20 games, sub 20 FPS.
Yeah, it's just the controls. I couldn't get to grips of how it controlled the control. It looked.
I like the controls. You map your powers and shit, and off you go, and you turn into like Superwoman.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked amazing on the Series X. I wasn't paying for the upgrade of what they were asking for it. You know, made Sony look cheap for what they were offering. You know,
people.
But I just don't know. I didn't really vibe with it. I gave it a try, and I'm just like, it's just really not for me. Maybe I'll come back to it one day. I don't know. I've got a list of things of games I keep saying I'm going to come back to, but we'll see. But I'm hoping for the second one they improve. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. I don't know how the first one ended, but I'm assuming they left it open for a second one to be able to come into it. But the fact that they're kind of committing to it and putting a lot of time and resources into it, it's hopefully we're going to see something amazing from them. They're a good team of Remedy.
I like the story. I thought the story was great, but it ran like fucking dog shit.
The gameplay itself was fantastic, like the shooting, the mechanics, picking stuff up and just slinging it around the room and hitting projectors over, and the image moving around with the projector, and then finding windows and just chucking shit and watching how it smashed. And I lost so much time to watching how the physics worked and how I could smash stuff up. Probably more than I did actually playing the game and shooting stuff. Was me just going.
I do need to go back to it because they did release DLC that I never completed. I won the base game.
Is it because it links to Alan Wake, doesn't it? It's part of that same universe. Yeah. I believe the way they've done it is quite unique, and they've done it really well. So again, I may come back to it, I may not. I did enjoy Alan Wake, so we'll see. But personally, I would rather they made a Quantum Break 2, if I'm honest. I love Quantum Break.
Quantum Break was amazing.
Brilliant game. I love the TV series with it.
Yeah, see, that's the only thing I hated about it, because I felt like the episodic bits between missions just killed the pacing of the game. I would much rather they just had those. I loved it. Hated it. That was the only thing I didn't like about the game.
You can skip the TV shows now, can't you?
Yeah, it was just their attempt to cross over to people that were more casual, I guess.
But a very good game.
I actually liked Control better than Quantum Break. I did like Quantum Break, but I thought Control was really good. But you're absolutely right about the frame rates. It just didn't look impressive. My biggest complaint actually was about the map. The map was horrendous. I hated the map. It was so hard to read.
It's quite
It kept changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that Alan Wake was better than the other games they've made.
I never played Alan Wake. I never played it. I never played it.
Oh, Alan Wake is fantastic.
Wasn't it? It was Xbox only, wasn't it? Was it exclusive?
Yeah, back in the day, it wasn't exclusive.
360.
That was the problem, because I came into Xbox like mid-gen, and it was already been out by that point. So I don't tend to go back to play older games.
Yeah.
I don't need to go back and play it.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't come on the Xbox train until the Xbox One generation. So Alan Wake was already out in the wild by that point.
Yeah. No, I'll go back to it. Maybe
I did play. I did play American Nightmare because I remember you getting American Nightmare free if you pre-ordered Quantum Break.
Mm.
So that's how I played American Nightmare, because I got it free with pre-ordering Quantum Break. But it's a nice series, and I have Alan Wake Remastered. I actually went back and bought it, but I just haven't had a chance to really go back and work my way through it.
I hope they do make a Quantum Break too, because I love any game where you got bullet times. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
bullet time's amazing, especially when it's done properly. And I thought they did a great job with that. I mean,
it was a great concept, and the actors involved did a really amazing job. It's kind of like Rise, Son of Rome. I think it's one of those games that they definitely should make a sequel for, because not only just for the fans, but just for the IP itself was quality, and it wasn't like it was a lazy cash grab. I mean, it was very well thought out, and it deserves a sequel.
I'll tell you what, man, Rise, Son of Rome deserved better. I mean, you look at that game. I mean, it still holds up today. It's still a gorgeous looking game.
Yeah.
I mean, you consider that came out on a console that was struggling to do 720p.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what they did with that game. I would happily see a Rise, Son of Rome too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people slept on that title just because of the poor. Because and I go back to Don Matrick doing what he did. Kind of, it took a lot of the wind out of Xbox's sails, and I kind of feel as a result, everybody, they kind of slept on Rise, Son of Rome, because they said, oh, it's just it's a ripoff of God of War, and it wasn't really. It was its own game, and it was kind of a disservice to Rise to try to compare it to God of War.
I don't understand how it was a ripoff of God of War. I think how can it be? It looked nothing like God of War. God of War was more
I know.
hack and slashy, arcadey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an amazing game.
That's the one thing I hate about the new God of War games, is that they're not like the originals. They're more, you know what I mean? They've gone down that cookie cutter third-person action game. Nah, they're not.
Yeah, over the shoulder.
The earlier God of War games were incredible because you felt like a fucking god killer. Like, from the very start of the game, you were literally like throwing off these combos and shit. Everything looked amazing. I love any game where you look like you're just an absolute badass, and Kratos had that in the earlier God of War games.
Yeah, I like those better also. I prefer how Kratos used to be in the original God of War games, how he pretty much had ruthless aggression, to borrow a term from John Cena. But Kratos had that,
Yeah, that's what I loved about it. It was just, he looked like a god killer, and he acted like a god killer. It was just fantastic.
Yeah. But
now
I think it wouldn't make sense.
Like Father Simulator.
It wouldn't have made sense because obviously Kratos' rage and everything that was going on against the Greek gods was for what happened to him, what he did, and what it caused him to. So he took his revenge. So it wouldn't make sense him thinking, you know what, even though how mad I am and angry I am for what happened to my other family, I'm going to go and take out on every god on the planet. It just wouldn't make sense. What they've done is he's now got older, he's progressed, he's now got family himself, and he's now experiencing more loss. I did love him. The big set pieces, they were amazing what they did in the original God of Wars. But the reboot, the new games, they hit. I find they hit you on that they connect with me on a level, on an emotional level, and I can relate to some of the things that happen in the game. And it's, I think the newer games are better. The stuff that happened in the previous games were amazing. The set pieces, brilliant, loved it. But I prefer the direction they've gone now with it. And I've said it on the PSN Party podcast. I've said it on Green Pass Gaming as well. When I was on there last week, I honestly do think that God of War Ragnarok is the best PlayStation game made to date. I don't think anything else touches it. That's my personal opinion.
I played the 2018 version for a bit, and it was great, but it just it falls. I don't like this third person over the top action cookie cutter build that they seem to go with on every game now. I'd much rather they kept it
camera
like
all the way
God of War.
through. No, God of War. God of War, the new series, and the direction they went, which I find works. It's one camera all the way through. Unless you die or you knock off the game, it's streamless right way through. You're not going from a black screen to another screen to get a cutscene. It literally all the way through. The camera doesn't go away. You don't get a black screen. It's literally as if it's live all the way through and you're following what's going on. I like it. I preferred it. And I wish more games actually kind of went down that route. Some genres it wouldn't work for, but for what they do, for that series, I think it works quite well. But I'd say God of War, the original series, some of them set pieces were amazing. Was it God of War 3 where you were on the boat and you had the big serpent thing? Was it 2?
That was the first one.
Was it the first one?
The first one. Yeah,
it was the first one.
It was 3. Yeah, that was just it was just amazing and jaw dropping, and I liked what they did, and I liked the direction they went. But it was just kind of sort of like Devil May Cry. They were just trying to.
That's what I loved about it.
Yeah, but I prefer the direction they've gone in. That's what I like out of the PlayStation for first party games in these story cinematic games that.
Do you not feel they're all doing the same thing?
No, I don't.
I feel like they're all doing the exact same thing, just in different settings. That's my issue with it.
That's people's biggest critique about it is because it's third person, it's over the shoulder, it's a huge open world, and you can say Kratos is linear this or linear that. It is to a point, but his game still takes place in a huge open world that it just controls where you can go in, but it's still the same third person over the shoulder type of action. So I completely get that.
But then again, this is an argument we had a few weeks ago. Then you're saying the same, like every FPS game's the same. It's first person, hold a gun, shooting things. Every racing game is the same. You're racing around a track. It's all the same.
Yeah, I get that,
but it's on the PlayStation. Get it? Exactly.
Because PlayStation are the only ones really doing it. I mean, first-person shooter games are quite similar, but they're all made by different developers. But with PlayStation, all of their first-party games are the same game, just in different settings. That's my issue with it. And it's like I've said a few times, if you were to pause any of the PlayStation, Days Gone, Uncharted, God of War, any of these over-the-top action first-person over-the-top third-person games, and if you was to pull one of the characters out and put it into a screenshot of one of those other games, you wouldn't tell you were looking at a different game. That's my issue with
it. It's
you got to wonder, like, your criticism about all first-person shooter games being the same. Now look at Call of Duty, putting third-person in some modes, because they're realizing that we have to differentiate a little bit, so they're giving people the third-person option with some of these modes.
Yeah. No, just to answer what Luke Steele said. I'm not saying that they play the same. What I'm saying is, if you were to take a screenshot of each game and pull the main character out and put them into a different screenshot, you would think you were looking at the same game. That's what I'm getting at. So if I was to pull Nathan Drake out of Uncharted and stuck him on Days Gone, you would think you were playing Uncharted. That's my issue.
You can do that with literally every genre of game that is made. There's only so much things you can do different. What was it? It's like, would you want to see God of War in first person all the way through the game? No. I don't even think that would play well. But Call of Duty are introducing a third person mode, but Battlefield's done that for years. Star Wars Battlefront's done that for years. And now they're just going to have that as an added thing in all the games going forward. It's just going to be the same thing.
Well, I think the biggest games. I think it makes sense, though, because I completely get your criticism of the third person thing, because that's where God of War used to be different, because it wasn't always third person like that. They made it like it because that's what every other game on PS4 why could you not make Horizon Zero Dawn from a first person perspective?
But maybe they could introduce options where you could have it, but it's still not going to change the game. The game's still going to be the same. You're going to have the exact same experience, whether you're seeing it closer or from a bit further away. You're going to have the exact same experience. But I find the only reason people are doing it and only saying it about PlayStation and not every other single game that is the same as the previous game and the previous game and the previous game, because it's only PlayStation that are doing it with first party. And that's the truth. It's, every racing game is the same racing game. You're racing around tracks. They just look a bit different.
Well,
it's all the same.
That's kind of an oversimplification, though, because you look at Forza, and like Forza Motorsport is a completely different experience from Forza Horizon. Forza Motorsport, it's all on tracks. It's very professional. you can have it on sim settings. Whereas Forza Horizon, I mean, you're off road. It's like a huge open world party, is what Forza Horizon is.
Fair enough. But what about the previous motorsport game?
Yeah, I mean,
and the previous motorsport game.
That's the franchise.
It's all the same.
Yeah,
I know.
Settings, though.
Yeah,
it's
but that's
settings.
that's what Sony have built. That is what they have built their platform on, and it sells. It works. It makes millions upon millions, and it works. It's one of them. If it's not broken, why fix it? And they do a bit of changes. Like you take Guerrilla Games. They've gone from doing nothing but first person shooter games, and they completely turned it on its head and did Horizon. They did something completely different.
But you have these same people that are giving PlayStation a pass that are looking at Far Cry and saying, hey, we want Far Cry to completely reinvent itself. And it's like, why? It's still selling like gangbusters.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think Far Cry should change. Same as Assassin's Creed. I don't like the RPG side they've gone, but it works. It obviously makes money and it works, and that's what they're doing. They also see that there is a criticism, like you're mentioning, of Assassin's Creed. They're coming up with a new Assassin's Creed game that's leaning more towards its roots. Yeah.
So some of these companies are actually paying attention to that type of criticism. It just seems that PlayStation maybe isn't.
I don't, but whereas PlayStation, they make them.
PlayStation plays it too safe. I feel. I think they got a formula that works, and they're going to keep catering to that formula.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do something different.
I agree with that. And you look at the treasure trove of exclusives that PlayStation's sitting on right now. That if they brought these back, you're talking about 10, 15, 20 million units sold from each of these. You're talking about Infamous, you're talking about Resistance, you're talking about Twisted Metal. You're talking about The Getaway, which I'd love to see The Getaway come back, be modern, and have authentic British actors. Now, you remember Mad Max, when the trailer first came out, it was an American actor. People threw a big fit. And so, of course, Warner Brothers changed it, and it was an Aussie actor. I think they should do that with The Getaway and have big names like Jason Statham, Vinnie Jones, etc., involved with authentic British actors for The Getaway, because the whole game takes place over there.
Yeah.
But that would be an amazing game that they could put out. Twisted Metal. People are calling for it. Where is it?
Yeah, they are working on a Twisted Metal. It's actually in active development.
I've heard that. I know about the TV show, but I don't know if they're making a game yet.
Yeah, there's a game in development. I can't remember.
I heard they're making a movie of
it. But they are making a TV show, but they are making a game as well.
Outstanding.
It's one of them. That's what works for PlayStation, and I enjoy what they do. Would it be nice for them to try something different? Maybe some of the developers want to do something a bit different. Go for it, fair enough. But the formula they've got works. These big cinematic and story-driven games is why I play games. I prefer the story side to things. And I'm not being funny, but God of War is completely different from Uncharted. Completely different story.
Well,
I know. But what I'm saying is, if you were to take a screenshot and take one of the characters out of one, but in the other, you wouldn't tell it's a different game.
People were saying that about Days Gone too. They were saying it's nothing more than The Last of Us, but on a motorcycle.
Yeah, but but at the end of the day, if it works, they're going to keep doing it.
My biggest critique about that though is PlayStation. If it works now, but with gaming, you got to get ahead of the curve. Xbox is always thinking ahead. So if PlayStation doesn't start planning for these new types of experiences before people get tired of this third-person over-the-shoulder action game, they're going to be behind and they're going to spend years catching up. They need to get ahead of this before they get to that point where people are tired of it.
Again, that's why they've taken on so many studios. You look like Bungie. They bought Bungie to go in a different direction. Bungie are working on a new IP that's again, it's going to be multi-platform, but it's going to be something different.
Well, because Bungie was wise to their shit, though. When Bungie came in, they knew what PlayStation was all about, and they said, nope, multi-plat is how we stay. That's part of the deal.
And they want to do something different. PlayStation done that because they are slowly turning. They realise they need to do things a bit differently, and they are doing that. They are slowly doing that.
PlayStation only bought Bungie for their experience with live service and,
So, of course they are, but Xbox have bought studios for their expertise. Why do you think they want Activision, Blizzard, King? They don't want it because for Call of Duty, they want it for the mobile. These companies buy other companies because they want their expertise, their IP, and stuff that they can do, their experiences.
And in PlayStation's defense, Bungie was actually a really solid investment. Bungie was actually a really solid investment because they've stuck with Destiny 2. They have a solid fan base. And yeah, we give Destiny 2 shit all day long, but they actually know what they're doing as far as these types of games. So it was a really sound investment for PlayStation, because to be honest, PlayStation didn't know what the hell they were doing with those types of games,
Exactly.
before
And the live
Destiny got involved.
service.
Yeah.
But why did they buy Nixes? They bought Nixes because they want to port games better to PC and have actual proper ports over, because they see that's where money is and that's where they want to go. They wanted to do all these live service games, so they're taking on more companies, investing more in other businesses to help steer the ship in that direction. But it's they are slowly changing, and it's going to take time. Insomniac, their games are different. It isn't just third person over the shoulder, Spider-Man. But then again, you can have any argument about any game company, about any game dev. They're doing stuff that has already been done.
I love you said the games are not third person over the shoulder and immediately named the third person over the shoulder game.
No, Spider-Man 3 isn't. Spider-Man 3 isn't, is it?
Well, one thing PlayStation is doing that I wish Xbox was doing is the PSVR 2. That's a step in the right direction, because that's giving people different types of experiences, and Xbox doesn't have anything to compete in that arena yet.
So yeah, Control's getting a remake, sequel.
How did we go on this tangent? But no, at the end of the day, they're all going to do their own thing. There's only so many different genres you can do. And something's going to copy something and stick with a formula somewhere down the line, regardless. Elder Scrolls, literally all the Elder Scrolls games are the same. They just keep growing on scale. No one's complaining about that.
But it's the franchise.
Yeah.
That's the argument. It's the franchise.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah, but it doesn't matter that they're all the same sort of game, literally the same game with a different skin, but because it's a franchise, it's okay. But that's okay.
Yeah, because it's the franchise that everybody's familiar with. It's one franchise.
It's the exact same game with different skins.
Days Gone,
but it's
Uncharted,
fine.
Spider-Man, Last of Us, fucking now Ghost of Tsushima. They're all the same game.
They're not the same game.
They are
not this. How the same?
Well, they're all third-person action games.
No, Ghost of Tsushima was actually a game, right?
Because the game's story-driven. That's it. The same. So any game that's story-driven is the same. Any game. So if Xbox just start doing more third-party, third-person over the shoulder, that's it. It's the same as PlayStation, so it can't happen.
Well, you got to leave Ghost of Tsushima.
We can have this argument all day long.
I love just winding you up and letting you go. It's fucking hilarious.
Ghost of Tsushima is how Ubisoft needs to be making their Assassin's Creed games.
Yes,
because it's kind of like Ubisoft and PlayStation. People are drinking and taking bets, and PlayStation's like, I bet you we can make a better Assassin's Creed game than you guys have ever made. And Ubisoft is like, yeah, I'll take that bet. And then Ghost of Tsushima comes out, and Ubisoft is like, well, shit, because it's everything that an Assassin's Creed game should have been. And Ubisoft is like, how the fuck does that happen? They made a better Assassin's Creed game than we ever have.
Let me put it this way, yeah. If Microsoft were to push out, I don't know, Super Track Racer, where it had like all the same fucking cars as Forza, same tracks, and people would rip that shit to pieces. No, that's just it.
Yeah, they would.
People would rip that shit to pieces. And then if they would put out another one called Bumper Car Races, where it was the same fucking cars, same tracks, the internet would tear them to pieces. That's my argument.
So Remedy making like they've done with the previous game and other games where it's third person over the shoulder, so they shouldn't be doing them games anymore because they've done multiple.
It's something different.
Why is it different? Why is it different? So
in one of them, you throw in tables at people, and on the other one, you're shining flashlights. Whereas in the others, you're all using bows or axes.
Or guns.
I'm winding you up.
Quantum Break is the same as Max Payne.
My problem is more the remakes and the remasters and the numerous remakes of remasters that need to be made. They could be putting that time into new games. They do make great games.
Agreed.
That's why people like them.
Agreed.
I just think that it's easy money. That's why they're doing it. It's easy money. Touch the game up a bit, chuck it out again. People will buy it.
Well, and it makes no sense.
Problem, right? That's why you're not getting new games. It's your fault.
It makes no sense because they got the PS5 that's like, oh, it's backwards compatible with all these PS4 games, and then they're like, yeah, let's remake the PS4 or let's remaster the PS4 games anyway. It's like, what the hell are you guys doing? You know, why have backwards compatibility at all?
Agreed. No, I completely agree. They should be putting resources into new games. That's where it should be. But
like SOCOM.
You know, yeah, SOCOM. Yeah.
I'd love to see that again. That was a great game. Fantastic.
But you know, we can argue and have a debate all night long. At the end of the day, there's only so many genres, and what PlayStation do works, clearly sells, and it clearly still has them in the number one position.
I'd like to see more variety. That's the only thing I've got. Like, yeah, they can do whatever they want. It's the remakes and the lack of variety. Like, it'd be good to see more variety from them. Like, you get in Xbox at the moment, they're doing RTS games like Pentiment, games like Grounded, first-person shooters, over-the-shoulder shooters, open world adventure games, RPGs. There's just so many. And then you go to PlayStation, we got Gran Turismo, or we've got story cinematic driven games. Apart from Destruction All Stars, they tried something different.
And that lasted a week.
Yeah. And well, they did Returnal, but that technically wasn't first party, but it did a few numbers, and then they bought them, and now they're first party. But they had a good studio as well. That game's meant to be fucking shit hot. So I like that they're buying studios at the moment, because it means they're going to try new stuff. But like Stubbs has said there, remakes and remasters pay off, they sell. Yeah, but that's not good if you're the consumer.
There's nothing else.
Eventually, you'll get bored of playing the same thing over and over. That's why I like variety and different things.
Video games are falling into the same holes that Hollywood's falling into. Everything's getting fucking remade or remastered because the think tank is wrung dry. People are afraid to take fucking chances and invest money into new IPs.
True.
That's the problem.
Well, MCU ever since Endgame has been shite.
Oh, fuck,
it's dropped off. Apart from a few peaks, but the majority of it's just shit. They need to do something dramatic, but they're like, we'll slowly build up the next bad guy again and introduce new people. It's like, no, you did that last time. Just try something different.
Marvel now has the Star Wars problem. It got bought up by Disney, and now they want to push out as much fucking content as possible, regardless of quality. It used to be, with Marvel, it used to be quality over quantity. And now it's gone quantity over quality. I went and saw Black Panther on.
Some of the CGI in the new movies
fucking horrendous.
Awful. Yeah.
The problem. Well, Disney wanted to invest money and have it pay dividends almost immediately. And ironically, Marvel Cinematic Universe has kind of run into the problem that Warner Brothers has had for years. You know, they didn't want to give stuff time to really build and grow organically. They just wanted to force it. You know, and you remember when Warner Brothers first got involved with the whole the DC Cinematic Universe or whatever. They wanted, Batman and Superman and Justice League and all this stuff. They wanted to throw it together and have it make, Avengers kind of money. And it's like, you can't really do that. Fast. You got to give it time.
I'll tell you what, Man of Steel is probably the best DC movie that's been out in a long time.
Yeah.
And ever since that, they've decided to go, you know what? Let's put Superman with everybody else in every movie. It's like, for fuck's sake. Like, he's fucking Superman. He needs to be on his own. He needs that challenge, because that's, do you know what I mean? Because, like, okay, let's take the most powerful fucking superhero.
Yeah, right. That's business, lads. It's not a charity. The problem is, Stubbs, Warner Brothers has shown, because they've had to cancel movies because they can't afford to release them, even though they finished it, that eventually, keep chucking out the same shit and chucking the same characters in, people will stop watching your movies and you'll start bombing. So you need to keep evolving and making it. And Avengers is also, Marvel is going the same way. So I get that that's business, but they've had to bring in a new guy. They've had to cancel releases. They've had to write off hundreds of millions because they've realized we're running ourselves into the ground, trying to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. You have to evolve.
Yeah.
But they had a great Superman in Henry Cavill. The problem with Superman is he's fucking Superman. He is a demigod. Let's be honest. He is the one superhero that destroys all other superheroes. So why the fuck are you pairing him with all the other superheroes in DC? He doesn't need them. They don't need him. Like, why is he there? That's my issue with it. I would much rather see Henry Cavill in another Man of Steel where, he fights, something as strong as him. I don't want to see him fucking tag teaming up with Batman. It makes no fucking sense. Especially when you have them stop their fight because their mums are both named Martha. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, you know, I kind of feel like Superman needs his own sequel, but there's so much room for Batman that they just haven't touched yet, you know? And it's like, stay away from Christopher Nolan because he wants everything super realistic and shit. It's like, leave him alone. Find another director who's stellar. Come up with, have like the Gotham Knights, but like in the cinematic universe, but do it real quality, you know? Like really have a writer and really have a director that is a fan of Batman and comics actually make a movie that's so phenomenal everybody's talking about it. They don't even have to advertise it.
Affleck should have had his own Batman movie.
Yeah, I think he makes a good Batman. I think
he's a great Batman.
Well, he makes a better Batman than he does a Bruce Wayne, I think.
That's the problem with Batman, though, isn't it? It's hard to find an actor that's also good as not only a good Batman, but also a good Bruce Wayne.
Scott Adkins was Scott Adkins. If you guys don't know who Scott Adkins is, look him up. He would make a perfect Bruce Wayne and Batman because he's already muscular and he has a great martial arts background. So he can basically fight a dozen guys and he legitimately knows how to do it. You don't need anybody to train him.
Yeah. There's someone banned the sex bot. Scott, cool. Nice. But yeah, I'm tired. The problem with DC is they're not building the characters up. They're literally going, right, let's throw them all together. Who have we got? Just a fucking Justice League. No, it doesn't work that way. Like, and that characters need a chance to grow. And I feel like with Marvel, they're growing in a really shit way now. Like before, when you had Iron Man and you had Captain America, these are great actors given a good role and they play it really well. They build the characters up over 3 movies. Now it's like, oh, here's fucking She-Hulk in a fucking
twerking.
She-Hulk twerking in 6 episodes. That is her origin story. Go She-Hulk.
The Hulk in New York punched this alien battleship that came from space, and he stood his ground. He slid a few feet, and he made the thing topple over and crush a building.
Yeah.
She-Hulk, she tries to drive off in a Jeep, and he can't stop the Jeep. And he falls onto the bonnet, flaps around it, and falls off into some rocks because he can't stop a Jeep. It's like, do you guys even remember what you did back then? He punched an alien armada in the face and stopped it with one punch. But now he can't stop a Jeep. Like, oh my god!
I tell you, Marvel, they've lost their fucking way, haven't they? And they had great actors before, Robert Downey Jr., fucking, Chris Evans was good. They don't have the only good actor they've got now is Oscar Isaac, and they're not doing anything with Moon Knight at the moment.
It's been confirmed series 2 now, though, hasn't it?
Is it?
And
I want to see him.
WandaVision was great, but Doctor Strange, the second one,
killed it.
Should have been called the Wanda movie, where she loses her shit. Was awful. Yeah. It was just like 20 storylines crammed into one movie, where none of it made sense.
That movie was a fucking mess. If
Doctor Strange wasn't there, the same movie would have happened.
I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's fantastic as Doctor Strange, but they did too much in that movie.
I liked No Way Home. No Way Home, where they had the other Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is pretty decent right now.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home was decent, but then was it only decent because they brought the old Spider-Man back? That's my argument.
William Dafoe was pretty solid in that movie. He was
William Dafoe was fantastic.
Would it have been as successful had they not brought Toby, William Dafoe, and fucking all the other ones from the past?
When did Jamie Foxx grow his hair back? That's what I want to know. His hair was a fucking shambles in the movie he was in, and then all of a sudden he turns up looking in shape. His hair is on point. He's a completely different person. I don't like it.
He was buff. You didn't like him buff. You like the scruffy.
I like the one with the glasses and the comb over, and he was all nervous because that's the guy we got to know in the other movie. And they go, "We're bringing these people over," and everyone else acted exactly the same. But Jamie Foxx was like, "No, I ain't being that dweeb again. I'm going to be Jamie Foxx."
Oh, because the Amazing Spider-Man Jamie Foxx was fucking dreadful. They needed to change that.
But if you're bringing him back, then he needs to be the awful Jamie Foxx that he was in that one, surely.
Yeah, but
I disappeared for a while. I had shit
going on. Fuck knows. I'll tell you what.
PlayStation, I've been listening to the same games.
I've been listening to this fucking dickhead bang on about third-party, over-the-top action games the last hour.
I will say, Sony puts out high-quality content, right? That's what they're good at. They have a certain genres. They put it out there. They smash it. I like Xbox because it puts out more variety. Like I mentioned, all those games earlier in different genres. I think Sony could do the same, and that's why they're now buying stuff to do the same. So
Yeah.
that's what we all want, though, no? As gamers, you want more variety,
Yeah.
more stuff. And as both companies buy more shit, it's going to be better for all of us.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think we just need more competition. Apart from Nintendo, they do whatever they want. Nobody gives a fuck about Nintendo.
But that's what
No,
makes them cool,
that's
though,
true.
isn't it?
Apart from
That's
Rabbids.
what makes them cool.
Rayman Rabbids, yeah, I'm on board with that. It's like
There's
XCOM, but
nothing
with
cool
Mario
about
and the Rabbids.
Nintendo. Nothing is
So-
cool about Nintendo.
It's
Speaking
XCOM
of-
with Mario. Why wouldn't you want it? Come on, it's
Well,
fantastic.
you
That's
got
great
two
for
camps. You got two
Xbox.
camps of Nintendo gamers. You know, you got us retro guys that don't really buy any of the new shit, and then you got all the people that love the Switch and all the other stuff that they're doing currently. Like me, I don't give a shit about the Switch. I'd prefer them to have the little Nintendo 64 Mini. You know, that's what I want.
Mm. So, speaking of Batman,
Speaking of Batman, how did we get back to Batman? What did I miss?
last week, Batman Arkham voice actor Kevin Conroy passed away, age 66, which is very sad. The guy was an
Yeah.
absolute legend. He did. He worked on Batman the animated series. He worked on all the Arkham games for Rocksteady, and he was also in NetherRealm's Injustice franchise. Which, he had a very long career.
He also played Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse, the TV show, and that crossover. I can't quite remember the name of how they did it, but he actually played Bruce Wayne in that.
Yeah.
Crisis on Earth 40.
That's it, yeah.
I can't remember
Crisis
what
on
it's called,
Earth,
Earth 9 or something like that. I wanna,
Yeah. But yeah. So he actually got to play Bruce Wayne as an actual physical character, which will be amazing voice actor.
Absolute legend.
It's just a shame. He had a brief battle with cancer, but he was still actually acting and going to Comic Cons and stuff while he was still going for treatment and things. So because he was quite dedicated to what he did, and it's just a shame. Gone too early.
Absolutely.
Was he the voice
Yeah.
actor for Batman in Arkham Origins?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. No.
Just
That
the-
was,
just the Rocksteady games.
Oh God, what's his name? The guy that does plays Joel in Last of Us.
Troy Barker.
no,
isn't it?
Troy
Troy
Baker.
Barker. Yeah, Troy
Barker.
Baker. He plays Batman.
He's in everything. Can we get Gaming Room 101 next episode? Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
Right.
I thought that was over now. We have a finale on Tuesday.
We did the Christmas special.
Yeah, we're filming the Easter one, didn't we?
No, there's only 2 episodes. None of your shows last 2 episodes. More than 2 episodes.
Gaming Room 101 had at least 5 or 6
6.
episodes last series.
6.
Good Morning Ginna, I think, hit 5 before that fell off.
No,
What happened was I stopped waking up.
Yeah.
So Good Morning Ginna died. I used to wake up 5 a.m. on the dot every morning. Fimbo was there. He loved it.
Fortnite Fridays. What happened to that? You
Just
say there's
trust
content all
I
the
can't
time.
I can't keep up with Fortnite
Well,
Friday.
that's content, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is the content drops on a Thursday, and by the time I put it out on a Friday, everyone's already watched it. So I need to get ahead of the game.
Shocking.
And I started making that map where I dedicated bits to everyone. I got the Stasis chat village, I got the thing, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, Creative 2.0 is coming out soon, and because of that, you can't publish any of your maps." So my map's there, but I can't share it with anyone. I was like, "Well, for fuck's sake! Like I was enjoying making that. I'll put that on the back burner for a bit, shall I?" Fimber Theatre has had nobody there. Nobody's visited Fimber Theatre because I can't share the map to bring them.
It's because you play shit games, isn't it? That's the problem.
It's because they keep updating it, and like Smite, they just charge you and ban you.
It's true. So, Dave Bautista really wants to play Marcus Phoenix in the Netflix Gears of War live action movie. Honestly, I feel like if they don't cast Dave Bautista, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, that man was born to play Marcus Phoenix. I mean, look at the fucking shape of him.
Yes.
Tom
Him and
Cruise.
Terry Crews, they both need to be in that movie.
I disagree with Terry Crews. Just put the actual actor who does the Coltrane as him. He's an ex-NFL player who turned into an actor, and he does the voice for him. He's an actual actor. He is fucking huge. Just put him as Coltrane. If he can't do it, I'll take Terry Crews. And then
I would rather see Terry Crews in it.
I've heard
What's
people
going
saying
on, Tinny?
John Cena for Beard. I was like, get
No.
out.
I don't want to
I
see
would have said Jeremy Renner or like Matt Damon back in the day, but they've aged. This movie takes so long to get made.
Jeremy Renner, I
can't
think
pay him anymore.
Jeremy Renner would be big enough if he ate like 50 pounds of steak and trained with The Rock for 6 years.
You do what Anthony Starr did. You just do what Anthony Starr did for The Boys. You put the muscles into the suit.
Steroid diet.
No, Anthony Starr's a stick insect. He hasn't got any muscles.
Right.
He literally is all in the suit. So when he's playing Homeland and he looks massive and muscly, he's a skinny dude. Like he has no muscles.
They should do what they did
or anything.
But Jeremy Renner's forearms would be like bigger than his head if that was the case.
They should do what they did with what's his name? That footballer?
Vinny
Jones.
Vinny Jones.
Oh,
they should do what they did.
Don't put him in a rubber suit.
They should do what they did to him for the Juggernaut. Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. You know that one?
Vinny
he has the height,
small person anyway, right?
look.
Vinny Jones is quite big. Hollywood actors are all about 5'6", 5'7". Vinny Jones is in his like 6'2", 6'3", is he? He's a big
pretty
fella
big.
anyway.
He's a big fucking dude.
To put the rubber suit in him. He was bigger than most of the people in the movie anyway.
Well,
Tom Cruise. We need Tom Cruise as Marcus Phoenix.
Tom Cruise wants to go on a mission to fucking space, and honestly, I think we should just fire him up there and leave him there because he's become one of those.
Whoa!
He's fucking weird.
You leave Sir Cruise alone.
He's fucking bizarre, that man.
You fire him up to space, he's going to end up running back like he does in all his movies.
Do you know what's brilliant as well?
You fire him up into space, and he rides back to Earth on a fucking asteroid.
Everyone's assuming, right, we're going to get the OG Gears of War, the very first one, and we're going to get that cast. It's going to be brilliant when it drops, and it turns out it's Gears 4 cast onwards. Like Coltrane, Beard, old man Marcus isn't in the first one because they find him in the second one. It's his son and shit like that. And it's just going to
go down the Halo route.
Yeah, I do think Gaz from what's it called, Game On Daily would make a fantastic what's his name, Faz or Faze, whatever his name is from. I think he's got the exact voice and mannerisms and everything. He just needs to bulk up. Get him on that whey diet, a bit of protein, and he'd be fantastic as him.
Just to reply to Stubbs, he's not odd for wanting to go to space. He's just fucking odd in general. He's a very bizarre man. Like a very bizarre man. He's one of those Scientologists, isn't he?
Who is?
Fucking weird. Tom Cruise.
He is. Yeah, he's very odd.
Proper bizarre. Yeah. So
get your homes up, so it works. Do what you do.
Did you see that bit he did with Oprah, where he's like fucking bending her hands back and shit?
Oh, he's jumping up and down on the sofa.
Talking about his love.
I'm in love.
Very weird, dude.
So, guys, good for you, Tom. Maybe calm down a bit, mate. Just if you're doing this on your first date, I don't know you got a second. Jesus Christ. I'm just some overweight, chubby ginger guy, but even I can get a second date. Like, come on.
I bet he broke her hip, didn't he? Second date. Right, this is one that's bound to rile Stubbs up. So the EU Commission employee frustrates Xbox fans.
We're not talking about it anymore. I ain't doing this shit. It's Groundhog Day.
It is. So yeah, an EU commissioner. Apparently he doesn't work for that department anymore, or did. I don't fucking know. But apparently he frustrated the Xbox community by saying wants to be sure that Call of Duty remains on his PlayStation.
He tweeted it. He doesn't work for them. He's in a different area. It's fine. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we overreacted," and then it came out. He did work there. He worked there for 17 years, and he only left in June. So he was there whilst they were investigating the whole thing. And he doesn't help himself. His tweet says, "We need to update our stock photos," as if he's speaking on behalf of that area because they got wires in. It's just an awful tweet. He doesn't work there anymore. He's clearly got I've left places and I still speak to people. It happens. He should have just kept his mouth shut. Like, why say anything at all?
Well, and it's social media, so everything spreads like wildfire.
Yeah.
That as well.
So it's like even though he doesn't
bad look, isn't it?
He said some stupid shit, and now people are like, "Oh my god!" And it's like, they can come out now and say, "Oh, he doesn't work for us," but it's like you should have caught that within the first 30 seconds if you were trying to, limit the amount of damage that he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't work for us, but he did. Like, maybe do that. Like, because it's come out now that he worked there for 17 years, and people are like, you can't work there for that long and not have made friends and have influence in people who still in that area because you left in June.
He should have said anything.
Well, and how many people
anything.
still work there that feel the same way he does?
What we need is that video of that guy with the chalkboard, which says "fucked about, found out." And he is right up there at the moment. Fucked about, and he found out. Like, just don't say anything, mate. Just stay at home and be quiet.
He had one job, to keep his mouth shut. That's it.
We were all getting bored of this
Couldn't
shit.
even fucking do that.
Down, and we expected it to go to EU stage 2. I'm like, yeah, it'll go there. Phil Spencer said it's going there, it's fine. And then he opened his fucking phone. He got his thumbs on the go.
For a spanner in these works. Yeah,
these guys are fed up of talking about this on his podcasts. Watch this.
I'll show that fucking Ginna.
Signed Ricardo. Wash. Off we go.
So yeah, that happened. And we got loads more topics to talk about. Fuck.
That's what I'm going to say on it. How he got so high up in the EU and he thought that was a good idea. Shows you how governments and bureaucrats are run. Like, just every now and then, sometimes it's better to say nothing at all.
Yeah.
Plead the fifth.
Yeah, bizarre situation.
Thing is, though, it is now, because now, if, say, whatever reason, just say hypothetically that the EU decide to block it, they'll then start taking him to court or whatever route they can go down, saying, well, this guy openly said that he works for them and says he's looking after PlayStation. So it don't help.
His wording makes it sound like the primary focus of the whole thing is to keep COD on PlayStation. That's the problem they've got. That's the way he's worded it. It's fucking awful.
Yeah,
but like Phil Spencer said in an interview, didn't he? He's like, I want to keep it on PlayStation. The biggest part of the deal
we'll go into
is
that
Candy
topic
Crush.
next, because we have got some more topics related to this. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has stated that he is open to making a longer-term commitment to Sony and regulators that Call of Duty will stay on PlayStation. I'll tell you what, you'd have to be a fucking idiot if you thought for a second that Xbox is going to pull Call of Duty off PlayStation. Yeah. When you consider this is a game that has made $1 billion in 10 days, why the fuck would they cancel half of that revenue for what?
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense. It's just, I don't get it.
In the words of Dave Chappelle, because fuck them, that's why.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And I don't get how people can be so naive to think that it would. I don't get it.
Especially with the $65 billion price tag.
Exactly. It's just, I don't get it. But to a little bit more of this, Phil Spencer has claimed that the Xbox business model would become untenable if it doesn't gain relevance on mobile, agreeing that Activision Blizzard deal is primarily about Candy Crush and not Call of Duty.
Yeah. Mobile is the biggest growing market, isn't it? Bigger than anything else. Mobile is where the money is now. They want that Candy Crush money. They want that. They just want that COD mobile money. That's more important than anything else. It makes so much fucking money.
You got to consider as well that they're pushing so much for Game Pass to become, a mobile and other device giant.
They're on about putting it on as an app, aren't they, to get around the blocks and stuff. So it'll be an app on the app stores. So
it makes a lot of sense, the fact that they're pursuing this deal for mobile when King, Control, arguably one of the biggest mobile games ever made. I mean,
if I get
still
Halo
play
Spartan Strike free, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, I tell you what, I want March to be here now. I want it to be fucking over and done with. I'm tired of fucking people, talking about it and kicking up a shitstorm over it. It's just fucking, I don't get it. But yeah, Phil Spencer has promised not to pull the rug underneath PlayStation 7's legs. So
the thing is, though, Red, is you're fed up of it, but Satya Nadella has already said that they're already looking at their next ones after this closes. So as soon as this closes, they're going to announce somebody else.
I can't imagine
it's going to start again.
I can't imagine the next one's going to be as big as this. They might buy up smaller studios and shit.
People said that after Bethesda. No, they'll never do one as big as this again. It's 10 times as big.
Yeah, well, Activision kind of came to them and said, "Hey, you want to buy us?" And so it wasn't like Microsoft went looking for them.
And that's what
There's
annoys
no one
me
else.
about the whole situation, to be fair, because everybody thinks that Microsoft is on the hunt for big publishers. Activision was in such a shit situation that they knew they had to be bought out. And they approached Xbox, but everyone's going, oh, Microsoft throwing their money around. But it's Activision who initiated it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get it.
It's
I think the writing's on
saying
the
it for a
wall
while,
with
didn't we?
Electronic Arts, though, because Electronic Arts, all their games are already in Game Pass. It kind of feels like it's a given that eventually they're going to be purchased by Microsoft.
Maybe. Release the red is there. It's like you, Jenna. You bastard.
No, not me. It's the ball above me.
What a
One thing I
wanker.
want to say, people keep saying, "Oh, Sony are going to buy Square Enix next." If Sony buys Square Enix, they might as well just flush money down the toilet. They pretty much only release games exclusive on PlayStation anyway. There's no point buying Square Enix if you're Sony. You might as well buy other ones who are multi-platform or more pro Xbox to deny Xbox of something if you're being competitive, rather than going, we're taking that and we're keeping that. Otherwise, you're just consolidating what you've already got. They might as well go for it and be a bit brave. But Square Enix seems to be in a bad place anyway. They've sold off all their Western games, sold off their big franchises that are new, and have then put out a statement saying, oh, Japanese gamers aren't buying our games anymore. Western gamers don't like them, and we have no Western franchises. So, well, you just sold all your Western franchises and studios, you bell ends. Like,
They'll be bought out by Embracer. Better them.
Yeah, but Xbox are getting them.
Nah.
Conspiracy. Have you not seen the conspiracy theories?
About them selling off all their shit to make them more desirable.
Yeah. Embrace. No,
Hold on to
Embrace.
these so we get bought up by these and buy them back. Yeah.
Crystal
we'll
Dynamics
buy 'em
maybe
off
you can see
afterwards.
because they're doing loads of work with them, but other ones it's just
That's
bullshit,
some conspiracy, isn't it? Fucking
But that was linked up before Embrace even bought Crystal Dynamics. It was Jez Corden and a few others, and Jeff Grubb were saying that they were working on a few games with Xbox on the idea that they might buy that studio. So, but no,
while they're working, while you've got these studios, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, Montreal, and all that working on these Xbox games, it just means Embracer aren't having to pay them because Xbox are paying them. So it's essentially they've got these studios, they're making money off them and not really having to. It's not really costing them out because Xbox are footing the bill for it.
They'll be taking a premium off the top, like contracting.
Exactly.
So you'll be that each contractor will be receiving. Like I've worked in contracting industry before, where we're paid £150 a day, but then the company who represents us to put us in as contractors are making £300 a day off the top of it. So and that's exactly what will be happening. They'll be making an absolute killing off them. But like Sumo Digital, they do the same. Like they did Sackboy and all that recently. They do the same. They outsource. They finish these games for people, and they just make an absolute killing. I think Tencent has snapped them up, haven't they? Sumo Digital.
It's still
Just
strange
to,
though.
touch on something Muppet says Sony doesn't make money on the PS5. They don't. Then Xbox don't make money on their consoles either. They never
Sony
make money
do.
on the hardware.
No, Sony do.
They turned it. And then they revised it to save costs more, and then they put the price up.
Yeah, PlayStation actually do make money off the consoles.
Yeah.
They do actually make profit.
Amazing.
People still buy them.
That case.
Last earnings call, it was.
Yeah,
These
they make,
public,
not
they
only
have
they
to,
make
it's
money
public.
on it, they thought we'll make more money.
Yeah.
Like a politician, Jim stood there and went, "We have your money, but we need more." Like Bernie Sanders.
But they have to because it's a public traded company. When they do these earnings calls, they can't legally lie and say, "Oh, we're not making anything. We put the price up." They have come out and said we are making money per console. I don't think it's going to be a great deal, but they are making profit.
So they're making profit. They reduce the cost of parts for the PS5, hike the price up to because of inflation.
Yeah,
I
people keep buying it.
Man. Yeah,
in every
it.
market,
but
other than
people
America,
buying
where
it.
inflation was higher than most markets, but it's their most competitive market. So they didn't put the price up there. I don't know why.
I'll tell you what. I went to Truro the other day. It was like, fucking city down here in Cornwall.
Once again, for people who don't know, Truro is
people
like
that don't know
it.
Truro
build a city like Bristol, but they didn't build it. It's between a city and a village, but the Hobbits made it. Continue, Reddit.
But
yeah, there's they had a PS5, second-hand PS5 in there unboxed. Guess how much?
£600.
650 quid.
Fuck me.
For a second-hand PS5.
Jesus
They had a
Christ.
second-hand Xbox Series X. Guess how much? $395. Fucking joke, man.
But that's it. But when these consoles are in demand, and clearly PlayStation, I don't agree with the price hike. I think it's a bit of a shitty move, but they've done it. But people keep buying it. More and more people just still buy it.
Yeah.
So clearly, what they're doing
CX literally gave scalpers a way out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, they literally gave scalpers a way out and gave them profit. Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's that. While people are willing to spend that sort of money and willing to spend even more money when they put the price up, you'd be stupid not to do it. If Xbox turned around and they knew if they put the price up an extra 50 quid and people were still going to buy it, they're going to put it up an extra 50 quid.
I'll tell you what.
Money.
If Xbox was to announce a 50 quid price hike on the Series X, the internet would tear them to fucking pieces. They wouldn't do it with PlayStation.
No,
it's perfectly fine when Sony do it.
Yeah, but no, I'm not saying they would do it, but I'm saying if they knew people would buy the console, whether they kicked off or not, and put the price up, like the people did kick off, the price went up on the PS5. But they also went out and bought it.
I think if Xbox to be honest, to do the same thing, they would get torn to shreds.
Yeah, to be honest, though, I think Xbox knows because you look at the Series S, that's pretty much the gateway console for current gen. I think they could price hike it $50. It could be $350, and they could still have people buying it. But I think Xbox really wants to maintain that positive image with the gamers, and that's why they don't do it.
And it's
they're even doing a sale for the Series S. So,
Black Friday for the Series S. Yeah, dropping it 50.
Yeah, it's decent
deal. Xbox had the right idea. I know everybody likes to shit on the Series X, but they made the right.
I love my Series X. I love my Series X.
No, Series S. Sorry, they made the right call.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Especially, they've had Xbox have had the Microsoft had the hindsight to think. Obviously, with the pandemic and everything's going on, it's the perfect console because it gets you into the current gen. It gives you a foothold in it with the option to upgrade in the future. But it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely amazing that they came up with it.
It's especially when you can't find the Series X, you can find a Series S.
Yeah.
It's amazing people who keep going, Series S is last gen console. As someone who has two brothers with a Series S, and I regularly go around and play with them, and I have an Xbox One OG here, it isn't a last gen console. Fuck me, it's next gen. Just
to clarify, you're on about playing the console, not with your brothers?
Oh man.
After about 5 minutes, we'll check the console on.
That Xbox One, man, what a fucking state.
Keep the bloodline pure. No, no. Series S is a pure next gen. It's like a Series X, except when you chuck a game on some games it doesn't have 120 FPS mode. A lot of games it does, and other games the resolution's lower. Other than that, it does everything your Series X will do. It goes to the menus as quick. It boots up games as quick. It's fantastic. Like I can't knock it. And there's people going, but it's not a next gen. It is, because if you try, some of these games will run 20 FPS and take 3-4 minutes to load on your last gen Xbox. You put it on this one, you get in like 20 seconds. It's 1080p, 120 FPS. You're having a laugh. Like it's a different. Completely different scale. Like the people who say that have never played a Series S. Clearly,
just to tell you what Substance says, he doesn't get the Series S. The storage space baffles him. It was never designed to be.
The gaming
it was designed to be clouding.
Cost.
Yeah, it was designed to be a cloud console.
And I don't get how people are critiquing this. You got PlayStation fanboys critiquing the Series S. It's like your camp is still making games for the PlayStation 4. So how are you saying anything about the Series S?
But
most of their games are coming out. Most of their PS5 games are coming out on fucking PS4.
Yeah, but the only reason they're still making games for the PS4 is because of the install base. They know they're struggling to get PS5s manufactured and out to people, and the huge amount of people, 124 million, I think they're at the moment, something like that, on the PlayStation 4. Of course, they're not going to leave that behind because it's right. I do, Xbox have done the same. Xbox got slaughtered for supporting the Xbox One still, and we are slowly seeing us coming out of that. But you don't want to leave, especially the way things are. You don't want to leave the other consoles behind for the moment. to give people a chance to play all these new games and eventually be ready to move over to the new consoles. And Xbox, the Series S is brilliant. Yet the storage stubs on the Series S, the reason it's obviously it's an SSD, the reason it is so small is to keep the cost down. Because the smaller the storage, the cheaper it costs, the cheaper they can make the console. And it's an amazing little console. And again, going on about how it looks graphic-wise and things like that compared to the Series X, yeah, there is a difference. But not everyone is playing on a Ultra HD 4K TV. A lot of people are still only playing on a 1080p TV. Some people are playing on 1080p monitors, and it still looks amazing.
I tell you what, the Series S partnered with a fucking 120 hertz 1080p monitor. Like that's all you need. Like, it's like entry level, isn't it? And that's a hell of a lot. You can get a monitor in a Series S for the same price you get a Series X.
I got a 120 FPS monitor, and most games that play 120 FPS are in 1080p.
Yeah.
So, like, if you've got a 1080p 120 FPS monitor, you live in the fucking dream. But install sizes are smaller on Series S than X as well. So you'll take that into account with the install sizes. A lot of them aren't as big.
Yeah. But as long as they, the Series S can still do 60 FPS and some games it can do 120 FPS, that's fine. You have that smooth frame rate. People are going to be happy.
Tell you what, man, you can shove that 4K up your ass. I don't care about it. I'd much rather have 1440p. 60.
Yeah,
I go frame rate all the way.
They showed on Plague Tale, and there was another game that came out recently. One of those, like, they were saying how demanding they were on the CPU and GPU. And it ran it at a better frame rate than the Series X and the PS5. There's like 2 games in a row that came out. It was Gotham Knights. Those 2 games came out, and they were like, oh, yeah, they're really, really intense on this and that. And it ran them a better frame rate. So if frame rate, you're like, oh, it's all about frame rate, not about graphics, you'd buy a Series S because it runs at a better frame rate than the other 2 consoles, which are apparently more powerful.
Here's the thing I don't get. Series X and S and the PS5 are all built on Windows times 86 architecture. Right, so there's no reason why these games cannot have PC graphic sliders on them. There's no reason whatsoever. So when they sit there and say, "Oh, well, the CPUs can't handle it," drop the fucking settings back. Your game is built on PC.
What's holding back gaming at the moment is PC. According to Steam, more than 50% of PC gamers, when you put their rig up and it compares it, have a rig less powerful than a Series S. So also they're all going, oh yeah, we've got all these super, the newest graphics cards and all this shit, the 34, or the 4080s, are they? The new ones just come out and stuff.
Yeah, 48.
And we got this. It's like, but the vast majority of PC players haven't got SSDs yet. They haven't got this graphics card. They haven't got this CPU. The problem is you're running something that is effectively less efficient if they went to FSR2 and all the things they could utilize than a Series S, Series X, and PS5. Some of them have got much better PCs than the consoles are putting out, and they will. That's why you watch the Digital Foundry videos and they crush it. But the vast majority of PC players haven't got something that's that level. And we are Luke Steele, 4090.
He does have one. He does have one.
Luke Steele has a machine that would make Digital Foundry cry in a corner.
That's my issue. That's my issue. All these developers that come forward
is holding back console because you can't go right. These are the new console specs. They all have SSDs. They all have this CPU, this GPU. Right. Every game has to run as a minimum standard on that because you'll put it to Steam, and over 50% of your market, nearly 60%, will go, I can't run that game. And you've got rid of 60% of your PC market.
But that's my issue when you got the developers of Gotham Knight, they come out and say, oh, the CPU can't keep up. Bollocks. These CPUs are built on fucking Windows. There's no reason why we can't have graphic settings on console like we have them on PC. Give you the option to turn certain shit off. Give me the option to reduce the fucking resolution for better performance. There's no excuse for not having options in this day and age. These consoles are more than powerful enough. I mean, Gotham Knights won't run at 4K 30. Drop that shit back to 1080p. You know what I mean? Or, just fucking turn off some features. Turn off some bells and whistles. It's not a big... These are built on fucking PCs.
Yeah. Like I keep saying, if PC's so good, why is there no PC2?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching a video of Gotham Knights struggling to run on a fucking 3080. Like, why?
It's a CPU heavy game. So they were showing on Digital Foundry no matter what GPU you stuck in it, and they swapped out all the GPUs and put all the settings. The CPU is what's holding the game back.
Yeah,
that's why there's bits where the Series S will run better than the PS5 because the Series S CPU is better than the PS5, but the GPU is nowhere near its level. But the game is CPU heavy, so it'll run the game at a better frame rates and stuff. And it's things like that. They're not. These games are not well optimized because they're having to build for last gen, this gen, then a million PC combinations that they can't leave behind. Because that's cutting off 50-60% of your install base straight away.
It started at PC first. Everything's done PC and then made down for then consoles. PC always comes first because that's where they make all the games. But
exactly.
We still haven't. The thing is, even what we're now 2 years into this generation, and we still haven't seen whether the Series S, X, PlayStation 5, none of them have been used to their full potential yet. Until we fully leave previous gen behind. We haven't.
I think another 2 years we're going to get a mid-gen refresh because it seems like more and more games are now struggling to get 60 FPS.
No, we won't. No, it's because the way they're building games is for the old way they used to make games. They're not built for modern graphics cards and CPUs. Once they start doing that, we're going to see amazing things. They just need to eventually cut the cord, not just with last gen, but with a huge section of the PC install base and go, right, if you're not like the new Silent Hill has done and people are like, shit, that game must be demanding. It's no, they're not compromising. They're saying, if you can't do this, you're not playing our game. And until PC does that and goes, right, until you've got these graphics cards and these CPUs, you're not going to see consoles take advantage as much unless it's console exclusives. But let's be fair, console exclusives have died out because they promise them and then they're on the PC within a year. So they never make them unable to run on a PC because they know it needs to go there for the majority of markets.
I just feel now, with 2 years into the generation, nothing should be made for any previous console now. That it should stop. And we are seeing it. A lot of games coming out next year are only Series S, X, and PlayStation 5 only. And that's where things should be now. We need... we've paid a lot of money for these consoles, early adopters, and we should be seeing the full potential of them and what they can do. And I don't feel a single game has used whatever console, PlayStation 5, Series X, Series S, none of them have used the full potential and capabilities of any of the consoles yet. And I don't think we will. 2024 will be the earliest I think we'll see.
You're getting games now that are using FSR2. And they're just starting to release on console. But then you have the same technology being deployed on PC and they're putting in-game ray tracing into Forza Horizon 5 and stuff for the top-end graphics cards and where they can kind of build towards that now. We're not getting that on console. We were getting FSR2 in Cyberpunk and we had it in Scorn as well, which is why Scorn looks so clear, even though it's not a 4K image most of the time. On Series X, it looks like a 4K image where it's upsampled and that. We're starting to get those features come through, and look how good Forza Horizon 5 looks. It's fucking ridiculous. And and Gears of War 5 used the original FSR, didn't it, when it first came across, and it had that free update to make it look clearer. But the vast majority, most of what I mentioned here was first party or games that are third party were paid for on exclusive deals. Your average developer isn't using most of those features. They're just not. And that's the problem because a tiny percentage of PC markets and your next gen consoles, which are 20-30 million between them, if that, and a couple of percent are buying your games when you release them. So you're looking at, say, you sell 10 million copies, you're looking at a few 100,000 people at most.
Yeah,
most games don't sell 10 million copies; they'll sell 1 million, 2 million, and you're looking at a couple of thousand people maybe who've picked up your game who are going to actually take advantage of these features. It's just not feasible for them at the moment.
And another thing that pisses me off about Gotham Knights is they were going to put out a PS4 and an Xbox One edition of Gotham Knights. They dropped those two entries, but the game they put out looks like a fucking last gen game. I mean, I think Arkham City looks just as good as looks just as good, if not better, than fucking Gotham Knights. Yeah, and that game's 7 years old. Yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, bit more news, bit more topics. So Phil Spencer has said he wants to do a Microsoft streaming device around $99 to $129, but it's not cost effective for them to do it at the moment. So there is no streaming device coming. I'll tell you what, I for one hope they do one, because for $90 for a little device that you can hook up to your monitor, I think that's a fucking steal.
Yeah, especially with
if
Game
it comes
Pass.
with a controller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Sentinel. Yeah, if you got a controller, amazing. If not, just keep it on the TVs like they're doing now, but expand it beyond Samsung. Don't do what you did with the SSDs and get stuck with Seagate. Don't get stuck with Samsung. Just throw it out there. Put it on all TVs. Have an Xbox.
There's a deal with Sky coming next year where it's actually the app will be coming to the actual console to the TVs come next year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, I like the idea that they've come up with this streaming device. They've made it, but they looked at it and said, no, it's too expensive, especially for this time. But that kind of means I do think we're going to see it next year, maybe Q3 next year, maybe in time for the holidays. Q4, we're gonna see it. And if I had a choice between picking one of them up and a Series S, I think I would pick one of them up just to save like money wise. And it's like, if you do a lot of traveling, going to events or anything like that, it's something you could take with you, knowing that you could just plug it in anywhere that's internet and use it. But it's brilliant. They just keep innovating and they keep coming up with different things and different ways of trying to get more to the consumers, more ways for people to play. It's like, I know I'm saying we're leaving, it's time we leave the Xbox One generation behind, which I do. And I do understand there are still people that can't afford to move to that generation, to the current generation, which is fine. Which I like. Xbox have. You can now play xCloud on consoles, so you can play the latest games on your Xbox One via cloud. As an option. I'm not saying it's going to run perfect. It's going to be easy, but it is an option to play and still keep them players that are still on the previous gen involved in the latest game. So it's exciting what they're going to do, and by all accounts, the way they're talking, Phil Spencer's talking about 2023 should be Xbox's year, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. And I want to see these apps turn up on the TV. I want to see a standalone streaming stick where all you need is a controller.
Because right now, like you were saying, you can travel with this and it's convenient. For a lot of people right now, they don't have that option. They got to take a Series S with them. And with this little streaming box, the streaming stick, I mean, you could just put it in your pocket and go. You toss a controller in a backpack, and it's a lot more convenient than having an entire system. Yeah, it's going to be streaming only, but if you go to a lot of these large cities, you stay at a nice place, a hotel. Even a lot of these motels have decent Wi-Fi, and you can live stream a lot of the games from Game Pass that you want to play. And it gives you that option of being able to be an Xbox gamer, even if you're on the road most of the time with business. It's a great option out there for people that are gamers, but that their job is demanding. Also, people that are casual that might not want a console or might not have the room for it. You can put this little streaming device right up there with your TV, and it's basically the size of your wallet. It's a great thing, and I would love to see this come out before the end of next year. I think it would be a tremendous boost to the amount of people gaming on Xbox services.
Well, hopefully the economy kind of settles down a bit come back end of next year, and it's something that would come out. I think the price, what they've got it priced at, I think it was between $99 and $129. If it comes with a controller, price point's perfect. If it's that for the streaming stick device, then that is overpriced and it's too expensive. But because what's a series controller now? What are the
$70,
60 quid?
Thereabouts. So that with the price of the streaming stick, and maybe you get a month free Game Pass Ultimate, and then you just get your monthly pass, however you do it. So I think it's a fair price if it comes with the controller. The price point's spot on, and I can understand why they're looking at it and going, we mass produce this now. It's probably going to tank. It's not going to work. Let's stick with the app, which is literally no risk in hardware-wise because we've already got the servers. It's a matter of striking up deals with these different TV companies, and then come back end of next year when people may hopefully have a bit more income, a bit more, money with things settling down a bit. It'll be an alternative to than having to buy a console, because that is what Xbox is trying to do: play anywhere, anytime, how you want. I must say, with the Series S, the people that designed that screen, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. That's genius, and I know it got
expensive either. A screen
no, it's not.
Really.
No, it's
not. I kind of see this whole streaming thing making PlayStation a little more desperate. Because they have the new PlayStation Plus tiers, and they want to capitalize on that streaming market. But as of right now, Microsoft has pretty much gone all in. They've completely supported Xbox, and PlayStation and Sony, they have no real competitor. And if you have this little streaming box that you can get with a controller for $130, it's going to make PlayStation even more desperate. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they react.
PlayStation have two models that are the same fucking price, pretty much.
Yeah. PlayStation had a streaming device. They actually had an actual device. It was the PS TV. Awful. Yeah. It didn't. It just was the wrong time for it, and it just didn't work as well as it did. Yeah, and it didn't work. But they actually had a small device that plugged into the TV. You got your controller, and you could stream games. But PlayStation streaming service just isn't there yet. It really isn't.
I remember that device, actually. I do remember that device.
And
it's like the Xbox One with its picture-in-picture and its TV functionality now. It's too far ahead of its time. If that launched with the Series X now, people are like, holy shit. I can have both on at the same time. I can have the football in the corner. I can bring things up on the internet whilst I'm still doing it.
You could have a game guide on the right, and you could have the game on the left. It was
that would have drove people nuts. Now it was too far ahead of his time. That was the problem. Joe Rogan wasn't about. Now he's there.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue. It's these things that they come up with where at the time is like, why the hell would you do that? That's awful. No one's interested, and it goes away. And then we get a bit further down the line, and that's the in thing, and everybody's doing it, But PlayStation did actually have a device for this, but the streaming technology just isn't there, and it still isn't. You have to have PlayStation Premium to get streaming, but again, it's still not that good. I have tested it out, and it's not as good as what Xbox is. Xbox is they put all their money and resources into building this infrastructure ready for the future. And PlayStation, I love PlayStation. Everyone knows that. But it's not so much complacent. It's more of they're just taking too much time to turn the ship in the direction where the wind is.
Changing quicker than it has before.
Yeah. And it's too hard. Yeah, it's changing too quick. It's like, who would have thought you would see first-party PlayStation games on PC?
The problem is Microsoft was looking ahead, and PlayStation wanted things to stay the same.
I think I would put it that PlayStation was so dominant. Xbox is like, we're not going to pull out the market, but we're not going to compete in the same way that every other person has tried to compete with Sony. We're going to try something completely different. And that's where Game Pass and this xCloud and all this shit come from. And they were like, right, we can't just build a console and put games out and hope people buy it. We're getting our asses kicked. And everyone who goes against Sony gets their asses kicked. So let's not do that. Let's try something different. Let's do the Netflix of gaming.
There is still nothing that even comes remotely close to competing with it.
Our Game Pass is excellent. Like, I mean, nobody's going to argue that there's something out there that rivals. I just want to touch on briefly like xCloud and the streaming. When I've played Control and a few other games on it on my console and without installing it, it's almost native. Like online multiplayer, you can kind of feel it, but when you're playing single player games, it's fantastic.
I'll tell you what.
However, the resolution, it looks like someone smeared Vaseline on your screen. Like the resolution's not quite there. If they could get the resolution as at least 1080p to come across, and it looks a solid 1080p as I'm playing, I would happily not install a lot of the games on Series X and just stream them, because the latency that I'm getting when I'm playing, I do have 1 gig internet, I will say, but I'm doing it wirelessly, so I'm only getting about 400 megabytes on my console. I'm not getting the full I say only.
Only 400
Only
megabytes.
400 at my console. I'm not getting the full 1,000 meg.
To be fair, when I'm downloading, I only get 200. I got gigabyte
Yeah.
internet, but when I'm downloading wirelessly, I only ever get about 200 gigabyte down.
But for me, playing like
Pants.
single player games, it's like I'm playing it as if it's installed. It's just the resolution is so bad. Like it really drops like 720p levels. It looks like Vaseline at points. It's really bad.
I'll tell you what. I was playing on cloud earlier when I was sat in minor injuries. I didn't have any fucking issues. Like no issues. The only issue I had was that my phone battery was dying quite quick.
On your phone, you don't notice as much as tiny screen.
Yeah.
So
didn't get any drops, didn't get any fucking artifact, didn't nothing. It was like I was playing it on a TV. It was great. It made fucking minor injuries a bit more bearable.
Yeah. But again, it's
especially when they said there was going to be a 48-minute wait and I was in there for fucking 4 hours. Bastards.
But the technology as well, the technology is still so young and they're still advancing. It's going to be one of them, you know. I think you're going to see like 5 more years down the line. I think you're going to see it a lot more streamlined, and you're going to have more and more people that will sooner play on the mobile with a controller or mobile with touch controls or the backbone than you are going to see consoles. I think we're going to be in a stage, whether it's both PlayStation, Xbox, or just Xbox, probably more Xbox's side, that you're going to see a drop in hardware sales.
Yes.
But their cloud, their subscription services are going to be through the roof. And that's where they're more bothered about. And they've openly said, we're not going to stop making consoles because they are them people that want a console, sat in their living room, sat in their man cave or wherever that they want to play. And I'm one of them. I want a console. I like a console. I love the look of the Series X.
Yeah,
I think the Series X looks brilliant. I love it from the minute I saw it when it was announced. I've loved it. And I'll always have a console.
Tower of power.
That's it. But it's nice to know.
Yeah, and out it goes.
That's it. But it's like, but look at next year, because obviously we have sort of discussed vaguely on shows that we are thinking all about meeting up and going to Gamescom next year.
Yeah,
I'd love to go to Gamescom,
we're all going to be able to play games there. But imagine, you know, we're sat on on planes. We're all going to be able to have if we're, depending how internet is on planes these days, play it on there, in the hotels, and things like that, you know, on an evening and things where we can all get together and sit and play. So it's interesting where it's going to go. But if we've got these streaming sticks, I would feel more comfortable traveling with a streaming stick that I can carry in hand luggage than having my Series X or S sat in a suitcase that, you know, Jimmy's just chucking on a plane like and kicking it like it's a football or playing
fucking
rugby.
Jimmy.
Yeah, you bastard. Yeah.
Fuck you, Jimmy.
We all saw that video from a couple of years ago where that person's got the phone out looking out the window on a plane where literally they're just chucking him, kicking him, you know, and it's like, yeah, I don't want my console to be in a million pieces. So a streaming stick, it's safer, and hopefully the technology is a lot better than the you know, that we'll be able to use them more seamlessly, you know, and less latency, because that's your biggest issue. You can't play anything competitive at the moment, but
I'll tell you what, I hope we do.
Play game.
I hope we do meet up for Gamescom next year. I've always wanted to go, and then COVID happened, and I couldn't.
Even if we can't do Gamescom, we just need to meet up next year. I know Sentinel is a bit more expensive for you, but we should just meet up somewhere local.
Yeah, Sentinel, fly to Europe from America. We'll meet up for Gamescom.
If not Gamescom, you've rather got April or August next year is Insomnia, which is a big big games event in Birmingham. I normally go.
Birmingham.
Last couple of years, but
different Insomnia. No,
no, different, bit different.
I can't
get no sleep.
Hey, I tell you something. At the NEC, they have a pub in the game event where they do 2-pinters.
Steins.
No. The plastic cups are about this big, and you've got to hold it with 2
pinters.
Yes, you're not allowed glass in case.
Absolutely heathens.
Yeah, it's just
in
case
in case you fucking shank somebody with it.
I can't wait
one of the nerds want to go smash it over someone's head or something.
I can't wait till Ash watches this video tomorrow and we get the message on Discord going, what the fuck happened to the show?
Oh yeah,
That was quite
and
productive
sorry,
tonight.
and as Luke says as well, yes, there is. There's EGX that always falls in
Either way,
London,
September.
isn't he? Is EGX Birmingham and London? They do the 2 shows.
I don't know.
No, they do. They just do London, don't they? And Insomnia do Birmingham, I think.
No, I'm sure EGX.
Birmingham.
I'm sure there's one in Birmingham. So I thought EGX did 2 shows.
I don't know. I don't know.
The triple point.
Oh,
just,
I'd love that.
Luke Steele said it's just London now. Yeah, they used to do both because the Virgin Media used to send me offers to get tickets for the Birmingham one or London. And Birmingham was always a little bit cheaper, which is probably because no one was fucking going there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we've still got a fucking shitload of topics to do.
We don't have to do them all, though, Redders. Pick out your favourite.
We do have to
We
do it.
don't.
Okay,
We don't.
Xbox,
We're not getting
Xbox
paid.
Live is 20 years
We're not
old.
getting paid
Woo!
to
Right,
cover
next
up.
topic.
I want to be in bed by 10. You've got 5 minutes. Pick your favourites. Come on.
Oh, fuck
There is one that popped that you guys might be interested in.
Ooh,
Go for it.
Just popped. Let's go.
They said that Volition is now getting folded into Gearbox following a disappointing reception to its Saints Row reboot. VCG News just put it out.
Reception?
Yeah, that's actually one of the topics I got here in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pick that one. Here we go.
there's a lot of shit going on with the Bracer Group. Dead Island 2 has been delayed to April 28th. Don't give a shit at this point. It's been delayed its entire life. Mystery 6-year deal with several industry partners involving multiple large games. Volition has been moved into Gearbox because Saints Woke did fucking dreadful. Investments are too slow. An internal review underway may lead to spin-off companies. So, yeah, Embracer is looking to diversify, I think. But yeah, I'm not surprised Volition's been moved into Gearbox. Saints Row was dreadful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I don't
It's
know what
basically
they're thinking.
because, it's because they told basically all the fans of the original franchise, they said, fuck you, we don't care what you liked from the past.
Exactly.
We're going to make it exactly how we want to make it. And if you don't like it, kick rocks.
We can't offend anyone. We're not allowed to offend anyone anymore. The
Yeah.
internet is too sensitive. They
Send
don't want to
them
see
a box of
dildo
tampons
rats.
and we'll be on their way,
Fucking joke.
There's a YouTube,
I'll tell you what, this is exactly what GTA was worried about, because it's hard to develop a game in this culture because everybody's so fucking easily offended.
No, it is.
Yes.
Right. There's a guy out there called The Critical Drinker. He got a channel on YouTube, and he did a video very recently about this, and it's called The Myth of the Modern Audience, right? And it's fantastic. And he says about, we can't make films a certain way because everyone will get offended and boycott the movie and what have you, right?
Yes.
But movies are bombing, and nobody wants to watch movies, and they're getting critically panned because they're trying to make it for what they think the modern audience is.
Yeah.
One of the biggest selling games every quarter for the last 10 years is GTA 5. If GTA 5 was so offensive and no longer marketable,
No one would buy
how
it.
the fuck does it outsell brand new games that are launching every year or every month for the past 10 years? It's still a huge game, which is why we haven't got GTA 6, right? If it was that bad and that offensive and that out of touch, why would it still sell in such huge numbers? It's a tiny echo chamber on Twitter, because there's not much of the world is on Twitter, right? And then even the ones who get offended is a smaller percentage. And then the ones who get offended are this and this and this. And you end up with 20 people who live on Dudley High Street Borough go, I don't think you should be selling kebabs past 11. And then the whole of the UK goes on Twitter, they're kicking fucking right off. Let's close kebab shops at 11, right? And then all of the UK can't sell kebabs past 11 anymore. And that's what Twitter's turned into. It's a tiny vocal minority of the whole world will say, this can't happen anymore. This is a thing.
It's fucking ruining it for everyone, the wankers.
But it doesn't need to. Just ignore it and keep doing what you're doing. Dave Chappelle was on Saturday Night Live last week, and he said, they keep coming after me. I just keep making
they call him transphobic.
Yeah, but he's getting Netflix specials. He's on Saturday Night Live because he hasn't apologized or changed. He's just doing what he's always done. Even he says, I'm not transphobic. They say I am. That doesn't mean I am. I have friends who are.
I'll tell you what, this fucking cancel culture is getting out
I
of
don't want to
fucking
get full
hand.
trans thing, but that's what I mean. So if you say games can't do this because someone might find it offensive, someone might find, but GTA 5 is still outselling nearly all games releasing at the moment. I think we're okay. Just keep making games that sell and people like and people want, instead of what you think we might like and you end up with Saints Row that literally no one I've met has enjoyed the story on.
Here's an unpopular opinion. Being offended is a you problem. It's how you take and process information. You know what I mean? And then nothing happens if you're offended. Like, seriously, nothing happens. Just be offended. It's okay to be offended. I thought, oh my God, these people fucking wind me up.
Like, if your biggest problem in life is something has offended you, you've got a pretty good life. Like, I have a lot of shit to worry about. Whenever I go online and someone says, "Oh, he's ginger,"
oh fuck me, you get it worse than anyone.
Do you know what I mean?
Only a ginger can call another person ginger.
Nah, anyone can. I'm open. Okay, it's 2022. You can all have a go.
Oh mate, I don't get these people. I really don't. Like,
I think that's kind of. I don't want to mention
that's my issue. That's my issue with social media. We're at an age now where everybody feels like they need to be special, like they need to be unique, and it's gone too far the other fucking way now. That's my issue with.
But only on Twitter. If you go out into the real world and speak to people, most people don't give a shit about this stuff.
People don't know how to communicate with people anymore. That's the fucking problem. Everything's done anonymously online behind fucking keyboards. Nobody knows how to communicate. Yeah. Social media is the fucking downfall for society. I swear to God.
It really
My
is.
mum says I'm special.
You are special.
Not
special
the way you
needs.
think. But again, I've just offended a huge portion of Twitter by saying that.
Terrorist. I am a terrorist.
Like, and I don't mean it's called a joke. It's a weird thing.
You can't say a joke anymore.
Behind it.
Yeah. It's impossible to say a joke anymore.
No, but like I get it. Like a few of my friends have got autistic kids and stuff, and when we play Cards Against Humanity and stuff like that, they take the cards out because we're like, yeah, it's a bit close to home, and a bit, he finds it a bit much. So with your friend where the limit is, and then with other people, then where the limit is. But the problem is when you start putting limits in for everyone you may ever encounter in your entire life and taking everything out, you're kind of left with nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Keep looking out window.
Fuck me.
Oh, I love you, Moffat.
It's a good job that we don't get offended by anything.
A little bit.
I'll tell you what, I've said it loads of times. This is why I love being on this podcast, because it's, as long as I've been here, we've always taken the piss out of each other. We've always called each other names. Yeah. And it works. Do you know what I mean? It's just banter. You don't have to worry about what you fucking say to people.
We're a podcast who respects what each other's are. We'll take the piss out of each other. And then on the show on Tuesday, we were doing an appeal for people to go out and give the homeless people money and shelter and tents and sleeping bags because we actually care about other people.
Well, I don't know about that. BmG said he wanted to fucking shoo off homeless people.
So. No, he wants to close down the games to give homeless people somewhere to live. It was a good cause, is what it was.
That's not what he said on Discord. He's like, fuck these homeless people. They need to shoo off my doorstep. That's what he said on Discord. I'll tell you what, he's a different monster on Discord. He did not say those things.
I'd like to think we're probably the most open podcast in terms of what we say and who we invite on, that it makes us unopen. Like, I had Missing on my show before, who's trans and stuff, and not at one point did I mention that she was trans.
Missing's awesome.
Or bring it up, or overhype it, because she's just a cool person. So you speak to the person, whereas on other shows, it'll be, no, we have this person who fits this quota, and look how great we are. We're progressive. Here we go. It's like, no, you're going out your way. Like, just speak
check out this walking label. Come check out this walking label.
They're a cool person who likes gaming, and they're on Twitter, so I invited them onto the show. That's how it should be. We like games. We like games.
Here's my problem. If you make a big deal of it, then it is a big deal. It's not a big deal anymore.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I
don't care about what gender you are, what your sexual orientation is, where you're from. You can be whatever you want. I'm happy with it. I'm as liberal as it comes. Like, it's the people who then kind of like get offended by everything and like, oh, you can't. I'm like, but I don't stop anyone.
Velma can't be a lesbian. Well, it's fucking obvious. Velma's a lesbian.
It's the fact though that we can, like we did earlier on, get into a bit of a little slight heated debate about consoles and games and genres, but that's it. It's
not a debate. You're wrong.
No, No, you're okay to be wrong. It's fine, but it's okay that we can have a conversation, we can chat, we can argue or whatever. But that's all it is. It's nothing's like personal, as in
No, not at all.
we take offence. We know we just have a laugh. We enjoy it. We have chats. We have debates. We don't always agree. Sometimes we do, but either way, it's one person's opinion isn't. Well, no, I'm not listening to you at all. Your opinion doesn't count because my opinion's better or whatever. It doesn't matter. Everything counts, and we can have a laugh with it as well, and that's the main thing.
For those of you that actually watch Gaming Room 101 as well, I mean, on that show, we deliberately go out of our way to be offensive and over the top.
Yeah, you really fucking annoy me. I try to rein you guys in.
I became Christmas Jeebus.
He did. Christmas Jeebus, who hates the homeless and hates game stores.
No, he loves the homeless. You're missing the point.
I love the
He loves
homeless.
the homeless.
I just want to put everyone out of a job in game stores so the homeless can have their places.
I'll tell you what, Gaming Room 101 on Tuesday was fucking feral, and if you haven't seen it, go and watch it because it was hilarious. Yeah.
Let's keep the plastic out of the sea.
Yeah.
Let's milk some
You can
squids.
like whatever console you want, right? You can be whatever you want to be. Let's just all be nice to each other and respect our differences, because I don't give a shit who you are, what you're into and stuff. If you're a nice person, you're nice to me, and you like the same stuff, and even if you don't like the same stuff, but you're not being a bellend about it, I'll probably get along with you.
Hello, shit in your ginger.
I do a show with this guy every week, and he tells me constantly how much my favorite game is shit, but I'm still here every week, even with his gammy toe.
I'll tell you the same as I tell. I'll tell you the same as I tell the missus. Opinions like orgasms. Mine's most important, and I don't care if you have one.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh my god.
So apparently,
that's why Reddit is still a virgin.
Crystal Dynamics has claimed that co-development work on Xbox's Perfect Dark reboot is progressing extremely well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it next year. You know.
It's not often you hear a co-developer go, "Yeah, we're doing a shit job, and it really ain't moving along."
Oh, it's been fucking dreadful. Sorry it's taken so long. These Xbox amateurs fucking holding it all back. They are bastards.
See, I think it's different. I
fucking
think
amateurs, a lot of them.
I think it's actually Crystal Dynamics. Yeah, I think it's Crystal Dynamics that are actually leading the development on the game. I think it's the initiative that are just helping them. I think it's the actual Crystal Dynamics that are doing all the work. They have the bigger team, they have the more people.
To be fair, Crystal Dynamics did Tomb Raiders, didn't they?
A few years ago, Phil Spencer said, before the guy left to go back to Insomniac, they had a vertical slice. They showed him the game and what it's going to be, and they were very, very excited about it. But they just didn't have enough people to obviously make the game because they're like less than 100 people, and that's where Crystal Dynamics comes in. This is the game. This is what we built. Look how amazing it is. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, you got to build the rest of that. Go. So.
But at least we know. We at least obviously because the initiative. It was a bit of a mysterious studio. Then when they kind of opened up a bit more, you're thinking, hang on a minute, you haven't really got a big enough team to make these sort of games you're talking on the scale you're talking. But yeah, it's happened on most studios. I think probably nearly every AAA studio, they all have other contractors coming in, whether it's to come work in the studio or farming parts out to third-party studios and things like that to work on it.
You
Halo
look at
with a certain affinity.
Well, you look at games like LA Noire that was under Team Bondi for a while, and they just weren't really getting far with that game, and they had to have Rockstar actually come in and take the lead with that. It's kind of like the same situation.
Captured, pretty much. They spent all their money on technology and not actually making the game.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good that, because a lot of people saying, oh, you need another studio to come and help in. It's like, yeah, that's public. They made that a public announcement. It says, but most studios do the same. Most developers do the same.
Last of Us 2? Was it 14 studios and over 1,000 people?
Something like that. Yeah. And it happens on most games and what have you. They get different studios help make different things to bring the game together. Especially now, because you look at the technology we're using now in these consoles.
Yeah,
it's if you just had, let's just say, right, Obsidian making Fallout. They're making a sequel to Fallout New Vegas. If they were just to work on it on their own with no outside help from Bethesda or any other studio or another third-party studio, you'd be waiting nearly 7-8 years for that game.
Yeah,
Because obviously they're working on other things as well.
But now you got ray tracing too. Everyone's worried about ray tracing.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
I wouldn't
But if
use
you could-
Obsidian as an example because
any studio we won't use 343 because
I think these newer. Oh fuck me! I think these. These newer engines like UE5 and all that are meant to be. You need less and less people to achieve big results. I think that's the way they've realized that making a game has got so out of control, and you need so many people and so much resources. They need to bring it back in. So the engine is going to do most of the work for you now, and kind of make it so you need smaller and smaller teams.
But how many of these games are actually using Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, it's true. There's not many. If any.
Slowly, I think Coalition on the Xbox
a lot of people
side.
have switched to a lot of
Well, because like
with
with Halo Infinite, it took so long because they were making the Slip Space engine.
Yeah,
and that took up a lot of their time. And it's like if they would have just used an engine that was already pre-established, they probably could have saved a lot of that effort.
They sacked the guy that made the engine.
The Witcher's making the switch to Unreal 5, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, coming off the Red engine.
But you're seeing a lot of these engines become so good that you're getting 7-man teams. Like 2 people made Death's Door. You had Bright Memory made the original Bright Memory before the full game made by 1 person. And then you've got Obsidian.
Pretty gash though, wasn't it?
Obsidian made Grounded with a team of 12 people, was there? And look fucking how much stuff is in Grounded. It's insane. And
I'll tell you what, anybody that says Xbox...
Isn't Pentiment less than 20 people? Or it might even be smaller than that.
Anybody that says Xbox hasn't had a good game this generation has not played Grounded. That game is fucking amazing. Really is amazing. Sorry, Jen, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it is a good game. I played a lot of it before it launched, though. So when it launched, I thought I was repeating what I'd done before, and I found it a bit hard to get back to. But I
played a little of it, and it's kind of like Sea of Thieves. I just got to go back to it. But
it's like Minecraft, but
it's like Forza Horizon 5 has so much content. I'm just like every single day I'm spending hours on there. You know?
Yeah.
I've lost myself on Forza Horizon 5. It got ahead of me. It was too much eventually. I was like, I can't keep up with it, and I don't want to. I've reached a stage where I've done so much of it. I'm enjoying it. I'll know I'll never be able to keep up. Same with Sea of Thieves. I love Sea of Thieves. I love the gameplay and have my little sloop. And off I go and do my missions, but I hate other people in my game. I wish you had servers that would be player versus environment or private servers. If it had that, I would pay to have my own servers. I'd be loving life. I just hate meeting other people on the seas. Like they're mostly bellends. The only time I met nice people was the first time during the Hunger in Deep, and you met Merrick, and you had to hold the tune. But you needed more than one boat could do. You needed 12 people, and me and my mates were doing it. We met people from around the world. We had frigate. We had about 4 or 5 frigates, some sloops, and some of the other size ships. There was about 20 odd people all together working on a common cause. We were chatting, abusing each other in different languages because, my God, those Belgians know how to throw some swear words around. And just like we all worked together, they shipped off. They came onto our ship and kind of jumped on and fucking helped us keep our ship afloat. And we finished the mission, and we all went onto a beach nearby and stopped for a photo. And it was like, oh, we'll all get together and we'll take a screenshot. It was a beautiful moment. It's like 20 people, all different nations. And me and the other Welsh guys jumped on one of the ships that was parked up and started firing the cannons and killing everyone immediately.
Typical Welsh.
You're the guy that everybody actively tries to avoid, basically.
Yeah, so we did it all together and it was beautiful. And then they posed for a photo and I was like, this is a bit much. I'm not stopping for a photo. Let's get on the cannons and show them what we do.
Fuck these people having a good time.
They brought
have a bad time.
Do you remember when they brought the microphone in? So you could hold it to your mouth, it was like a trumpet thing, and you could speak to people far away in game, because before it only had communication where you were next to each other. But if you put that up, you could shout like 400 or 500 meters away and you could speak to other ships. And I was like, this is amazing. Cool. And me and my mates were playing and we were doing missions, and there was another ship. And the guy was like, do you speak English? I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, we do. Your mum's a cunt. It's like, perfect. That's exactly what I
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that fucking TikTok of "What's your name"? It reminds me of that.
Exactly like that. Yeah. Your mum's a cunt. And off they went. Just changed direction. Never saw him again. I was like, beautiful. What a beautiful moment in gaming.
See, I liked the look of Grounded, but I couldn't play it because someone shouted at me and
Because you were killing me, you dickhead. That's why. You were teammates.
And I could never play it again. It was survival. You said we had to survive.
Together.
I needed food. You were there.
Wow.
And he shouted at me.
Anyway, I'll tell you what. Let's start closing this out.
Did you go a bit Dharma on him?
Yeah.
How's the camp smell? Oh, the meat in the fridge has gone bad.
Oh shit! I saw this thing on Facebook the other day of someone saying, well, they were asking questions about an air fryer, and it said, "Can it feed a family of 8? Can it handle a family of 8?" And some guy replied, "All right, calm down, Dharma, and fuck me, it's the best thing I've ever seen."
Eat your sandwich. Why won't you eat your sandwich?
Yeah. Anyway,
on Netflix, fantastic watch. I highly recommend it.
It's amazing.
Creepy,
it's intense, proper intense.
No
yeah,
spoilers for that poor deaf guy. Oh
no, he was the hardest one for me. I think he was so sweet, and he turned them into fucking steaks.
He got away, and then he forgot something. And came back.
I came back, and then he got turned into fucking steaks.
He was gone. He was like, "I'm sorry, I forgot something." I don't know sign. If you're watching this, if you're watching this back, that's not going to make any sense. You're going to go, "Why is this guy swearing at me?" I'm sorry, I forgot something in that.
You look like you're casting shit spells. What do you look like?
I know how to say in sign, alpaca.
The only sign language I know is this.
Alpaca. And also, shoes.
What's choose an alpaca?
So I own alpaca shoes.
Fucking hell. Right. So yeah, that is the end of the podcast. Before I go, we are doing a God of War Ragnarok giveaway when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to be in with a chance to win a copy of God of War Ragnarok, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your nan. She'll love it. And as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, all those names will go into a draw, and then a winner will be chosen. You have to provide proof of subscription to qualify. But yeah,
if your nan is dead, like both of mine, this wasn't a personal attack on you. It's just a saying. Share it with your nan.
Don't be offended. Fuck me. Jesus.
My nan's not here to share.
Never mind. Shit happens. Just share it with the rest of your family. But yeah, that's been XBL UK 36 Sentinel. Cheers for jumping in last minute. Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It was like having Ash here, but you were more fun.
Wow.
See, GINNA was actually responsible for finding someone, and he failed miserably.
I invited somebody who I invited someone who I'm a fan of their show, but didn't realize today was their 1-year anniversary show they put up. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we're not going to be there because we're kind of doing our own thing. It's our 1-year anniversary." Yeah. Remember? I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll get you on soon."
And sadly, Ash has passed away. He got hit by a milk truck driven by an unknown van. And rest in peace. We will have Greg sausage rolls in your honor.
People were confused because
he says.
He had a Brazil flag on the back of his milk float, but he spoke in an Eastern European accent.
I fucking kill you.
The Italian Fabio.
I milk your mother.
Fabrizio.
Fucking hell. Right, shout out to people that have tuned in. Big Shot, Stubbs, Muppet, Thimber, Big Shot. Did I say Big Shot? I don't fucking know.
You did.
Luke Steele.
We had a pistol at one point.
We had a what? Oh yeah, Sexbot. Thanks for tuning in.
A friendly pest.
A friendly pest dropped by. Yep, that's true.
No, I
Anyway,
meant there's a
Timmy,
friendly pest, not a sex bot.
Timmy dropped by. You know what? I'll tell you what, it's awesome when you guys turn up and chat and argue and fight amongst yourselves. It's fantastic. But yeah, that's it for tonight's show. We'll be back next Thursday. We are on a new time slot. We're not doing Tuesdays anymore. It's every Thursday at 8 p.m. Rambling with Redders is back on Monday. This week I am joined by Animated Evil, which is a really cool episode. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good night, everyone.
See you later.